Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome to another edition of Sovereign Citizen Saturday. I hope you're having a good one, and I hope you're ready for plenty of people not understanding the law. So, welcome. Thanks for spending your Saturday evening with me, or I guess whatever time it is around the world. The internet does work globally as far as I'm aware. Nick with 45-bit says, well, I finally got banned from Twitter for calling a TERF the C word in German. Oh well, that's a shame. Overthought says a sovereign citizen and a libertarian are stuck on a desert island. Which one takes responsibility first and lights a fire so they don't die? The sovereign citizen decides that it is their right to stay warm without a fire, and therefore they decide that they don't need one. The libertarian tries to find someone else they can hire to light the fire, but to no avail. They both freeze to death. Time for some idiots to get arrested? Agreed. Yeah, I don't have any really prelude to today, so let's just get into it, I guess. Let's just jump right in. Oh boy, I have a lot of options today. I found some new sovereign citizens. Should we start with something new, or someone who's, something new, or like Glenn Serio, someone we've seen before? What do you guys think? Chat? New? Okay. We could try and do a new one. Let me see which ones are the new ones here. Ooh, this one is not good. Meek says, I came up with a book idea called Billionaire Jail, where the world's billionaires have to compete in a non-lethal Squid Game in order to get a few years off of their sentence. I feel like Elon would be the easiest to write off. Nick says, Glenn Serio, I haven't felt like punching enough people today. Okay, let's go ahead and watch this one. Daughter of Tiamat, thanks for 19 months. Says, hi diggity ho, neighborinos. That's really weird, because I was going to start the stream earlier. I was thinking about it. I was going to say, hi diddly ho, viewerinos, and I decided not to. Weird. Small world. We've both seen one of the most popular animated series of all time. What are the odds? Anyway, so the first person we're going to watch today here on Sovereign Citizen Saturday is an interesting case. It appears to be a sovereign citizen type who is also a Trump supporter based on his interesting choice of headwear. We're all very aware. A certain red cap with a slogan on it. But more interestingly, it appears that in this video, at least from the bit that I've watched at the beginning, his wife has arrived with a court order to get their kid, basically. I don't know the details, so I can't speak to that. However, based on this video, it appears that a cop has come with the mother to procure a child that the court has ordered go into the custody of the mother from the father. So yeah, let's take a look at this interaction. Hydrate. Will do. His channel's full of other sovereign citizen stuff, by the way, so I imagine maybe some of that and conspiracy stuff might have something to do with the custody battle. Again, speculation. I do not know. He has multiple cameras ready. Cop walks up, cameras set up on a fucking tripod. You think the cop's like, here we go. He was probably already warned by the wife or ex-wife or whatever the scenario happens to be. Sky Comet Fallen says, another divorce court, quote, victim turns chud. How long until he goes MGTOW? He's probably already there. He's probably already a big Terrence Pop fan. Honest Noir says, is it me or do these guys all seem to have a look? I know what you mean, but I don't like to stereotype people based on their looks.
Yeah, how you doing?
All right.
Is there anything I can help you with today, sir?
Yeah, so I guess Priscilla's here for child custody issues.
Well, first of all, can I have your name and badge number, please?
It's Ekman. 1057 is my badge number.
Thank you very much.
You have your ID with you?
No. There's been no crime committed. I don't need to present my ID.
Okay.
Okay, but like, you could, and I don't think it would hurt, but okay, cool. Narnini Owl says, residents just off in the woods, just follow the cameras. Hats off, History Chick. What would you like me to put on for your hats off? Let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I'll put on something random.
Well, she's here to pick up the child, and she has a...
Whatever happened to the red hats doing the whole thin blue line thing? I thought they loved the police. Isn't there a line whenever, like, a person of color gets shot by the police, you should have just complied? How's this guy mesh with that ideology? Probably not very well.
Order for it.
The Jadora? People love the Jadora. People are telling me every day, we love the Jadora. Everyone loves the Jadora, they say, okay? The Jadora, it wins, and it cannot stop winning. The Jadora. Jadora! Bittergrin says... They were also against blocking traffic until they started doing it. I'm starting to think they're just hypocrites.
Can I see the court order?
All right. Can I see your ID? I get the court order.
I know, the Jadora's fucking fantastic. I'm glad your family got the Jadora. It's rad as shit. Everyone loves it.
Well, this is a two-way street here. There is no court order, as far as I know.
You give me a hats off, I give you a Jadora. This is maybe the best trade deal in the history of trade deals. Okay? Let me tell you, China has no Jadoras. They expect us to get all our Jadoras from them while giving nothing back. That's all I got. I don't know. People who... once I posted this to YouTube, everyone's already left because of my bad Trump impression. Jesus.
There is. I'm not showing you a court order if you're not going to identify yourself as the one on the court order.
Well, I'm a private citizen, so...
Well,
if you're here, I've identified myself as the father of my child.
We can do it the hard way. Your choice, right now.
Okay. You understand you're on private property, right? And there
I don't understand what he thinks that means.
hasn't been a crime committed here, right?
What state do you live in?
Okay, but the cop is there on a matter that pertains to the law. At minimum, like, civilly, I don't know what it's considered. It's not a criminal matter, so I gotta imagine, like, hey, your wife has custody and we're coming to pick up the kid. That's a civil matter, and cops can be employed in dealing with civil matters. Like, when there's a court order involved, that doesn't mean the cop can't be there, tell you, like, hey, we're here for the kid. This guy Fallen says, they stopped the cop bootlicking after January 6th. The cops were meanies to people who aren't black. That's not supposed to happen.
I live in my state, the Constitution State of Connecticut, and I follow the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and you took an oath to do the same, did you not?
Okay, the Constitution allows the states to have the rights and whatever that are not guaranteed to the, like, not rights. Gives them the powers not delegated to the federal government under the Constitution, right? The 10th Amendment, okay? So, the state that you live in has empowered counties to employ police and deputize the police to enforce laws and to enforce matters like this. So constitutionally, you need to listen to this fucking cop.
I am. That's
okay, well, thank you very much. Please respect my rights as a citizen. I'm a father and deep concern for my daughter's safety.
Not for much longer, you're not.
I'm doing the right thing.
Hang out here for me.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to see the court order. I don't need to ID myself.
I don't even know why he's making this difficult. Like, I don't know what the court situation was. I don't even really care. Not my business. Although he decided to film this. So he let it be everyone's business. Regardless of why your child is no longer going to be in your custody, they're not gonna be. Why are you making this difficult? You're just stretching this out. You're making it more of an ordeal for you. You're making it an ordeal for your wife or ex-wife or whatever the situation might be. You're making it an ordeal for your child. Why do this? You're just coming off as an asshole and reinforcing probably why they're not allowing you to, like, have custody of your child anymore, quite frankly. That's just my opinion, though. Is there a safety reason for U.S. cops to wear sunglasses all the time? No, I think they're trying to disguise their eyes. They're trying to, like, make themselves harder to read. And also they think they look cool, probably. In fairness, they are also, you know, outside a lot of the day. So, just want to protect those peepers. So he's taking pictures of the license plate on the cop car, taking pictures of the other car, which presumably his wife, ex-wife, whatever the current legal situation is. Feels gross, feels intimidating. I don't know. Again, opinion. I don't know why he would need that information, but nonetheless, he now has it.
I sure will. It's not anything against you. I have the utmost respect for the law, sir.
That's fine. You're being recorded as well, so.
I have the utmost respect for the law, which is why I'm making it incredibly difficult for you to carry it out, okay?
That's great. It works both ways. Exactly. I do First Amendment audits all the time. I got a civil case, federal case against the Department of Revenue Services.
Oh. That probably explains a lot. This is just speculation, but I'm wondering if he mayhaps, this is, again, speculation, his federal case against the IRS, which is a bad move, if I'm just going to put it out there. I'm wondering if he didn't pay taxes and maybe didn't tell his wife or something, and they're getting a divorce over it, and now he's trying to sue the IRS because he doesn't want to have to pay taxes. And then there's this custody thing. Again, I'm just building a narrative in my head based on what I'm seeing, but seems believable based on what I understand about sovereign citizen ideology. K.R. Goss says, I get to serve my husband with court papers soon. Illinois law requires me to have him served with a court appearance in order to have our child's name changed, name change. We share a house and he signed off and notarized that he will attend the court date. Seems a little weird to play a sheriff to serve him. MW1642 says Snipe becomes the stream boss. This guy Comet Fallen with 45-bit says, I thought they all wanted to look like Captain from CSI Miami and pull their sunglasses dramatically. Seems like your victim picked a fight with the wrong raccoon. Cue the Who music. Wow! Atheist Brony, thanks for 14 months, says, just got here from a mini star versus marathon. What have I missed? Not much. This guy's having his kid taken away by the police. Via court order.
And I suspect that this more or less has to do with the cop whose butthurt feelings I upset yesterday from Vernon.
Oh boy, I can't imagine why your court appearance didn't go well. When you describe your interaction with a cop or judge or anything like that as, I made them butthurt in relation to your custody case, your legal defense is probably going great.
By calling her honey. You know, I know, but I'm sure you guys got a call from them.
That's really disrespectful.
Right then, I just got a call from her saying some child custody.
All right, so the issue here is, I mean, you need to be brought up to speed. I don't know if you're on a one-way ticket or not. This is a two-way street. We have equal custody of our kid. She's in danger over there. She's been abused. She's been traumatized.
You okay? Gotcha. Just kitties doing stuff. Tea with Goblins with 100 bits says, Hannah and her Jadora, a star in stripes, oh how we adore her. Hydrate and a hype train started, 81% to level 1. Thanks. Let's try and get to level 5. I know, surprise, right? A streamer who wants to get to a level 5 hype train. Who's heard of that before?
And we're breaking her out of her shell. We're giving her a safe environment to live in.
It's a civil issue.
That's right.
All right, listen. I told her before we even came over here, we don't remove children from a biological parent.
Thank you very much.
Case, listen, if you didn't want to give up the child, she would have to go back to court, explain to them, or call DCF, because DCF has the power to remove a child.
Oh, so they do have joint custody. Yeah, that's probably not going to work then. That's a shame. Nick says, use these bits to bribe the kiddies, not to tear shit up. Honest Noir says, I don't know whether to respect these cops for keeping their cool when dealing with these guys or be more angry that they seem to never be able to do so when dealing with black people existing in their line of sight. The second one. You should be frustrated knowing that they are capable of keeping their cool but choose not to under selective circumstances, generally based on someone's race, or, I don't know, if they're in a poorer area, whatever. Whether it's a white person or a black person, but often a black person because racism. Ivana B. Spanked, thanks for 17 months.
Sure, they could try. I know my rights with them. We got a lawsuit against them, too.
All right? We don't get involved.
How many lawsuits have you filed?
If we deal with the criminal side, this
Yeah,
is
that's
a civil
fine.
issue,
That's
all
fine. That's why I was a little aggravated with you guys even coming here. I've been harassed by police for the last 2 days. I haven't
not
even committed a
harassing you.
crime. Yeah, but I've been getting phone calls all day and night.
Not from me.
From
right?
your office, from your department, and from Vernon. And to me, that's unacceptable.
Maybe the resident trooper or something. I'm not
Being
the
a
resident
civil
trooper.
matter, you could have educated your superiors and said, hey, isn't that a civil matter? Why are we even going to go out there and waste our time
I
and
don't deal with
resources?
them. I'm not the resident of the town. All right,
Okay.
so you can bring up.
Oh, I certainly will.
Right.
We're audited.
But I thought I was told there was a court order. Didn't they say there was a court order at the beginning, but he's saying they have joint custody? Is it like a temporary custody transfer during whatever hearings are going on currently, maybe? Like, they currently have joint custody, but it's like a temporary, like, the kid needs to go with her thing? I don't know. Citisaurus says, hype train, yo. Tell my cat to stop misbehaving. He's screaming like a lunatic and jumping on me repeatedly. He doesn't seem to understand how many times I explain that it's not food time yet just because I walked in the door. Calm down, kitty. Jamie Lynn with 50 bits says, hi, Hannah. Got a job so I don't get to watch your streams as much. Thank God for YouTube. I'll try not to be so naughty anymore. I love your stream. Well, I'm glad you were able to get something. I hope you enjoy the YouTube uploads.
This town.
24% level.
All right, I'm not the one.
You
Here.
probably love my work. Check me out online, Tyrant Slayer Studios. I'm a huge supporter
Oh, I didn't mention Tyrant Slayer is the name of this channel. Tyrant Slayer Studios.
of law enforcement. I give you guys
He's a Trump fan, though. But he slays tyrants.
more compliments and credit than anybody in this country.
If you want to see the court order, if you show me your license so I can prove you're the one on the court order, I'll be more than happy to get it from her or show it to you.
Okay, so there is a court order, so he is supposed to transfer the child to her.
Okay.
You want to do that or no?
I don't think it's necessary. I'm going to make her go through all the channels.
All right, go through the channels. All right.
She can
The
do
only
whatever
thing
she feels necessary. She's already got it.
Making this more difficult than it needs to be is going to make him look way worse in court. Because if there is a court order and he's basically refusing to abide by the police trying to carry out that court order, it's going to make him look terrible in court if he's doing some sort of like longer term actual custody battle that deals with like the wife or ex-wife or whoever, girlfriend, whatever, getting full custody. That's not good.
DCF case working
That's
against
fine.
her, so it
So
gives
I'm
me
not-
more grounds to take my daughter out of her house and bring her here.
I'm not here to pick the sides between
I
you two.
understand, sir.
I just want to give you a little side piece of advice.
Mhm.
All right. She has a court order from a judge.
Mhm.
All right. It's a civil, so I don't involve enforcing it.
Mhm.
All right.
The same judge that let her stay with the ex that I tried to get
I
a
don't know what
restraining
it
order
is.
and punched her in the
So,
face in front of my daughter,
the only
that
thing I
same
wanna
judge
tell-
that's not much of a
only
judge?
thing I
Yeah,
wanna
screw
tell
that
you
lady in
is-
her black cloak.
If you're looking to get full custody of your child, which
Oh,
it
I
sounds
certainly
like you are,
am.
because whatever issues she has at her place,
Major issues.
Listen, I don't know. All right. The only advice I can give you is, it's not going to look great for your case when a judge is saying she.
It's for because she's in imminent danger if she leaves this driveway. She is in imminent danger, and it doesn't matter if a judge.
Imminent danger? Joey is strong, thanks for 200 bits. Poetic Fox with 100 says, I almost grew up to be one of those kids. Luckily, I got leftied at the time I did, high school instead of being led to being chuddy anti-law assholes. That's good.
Judge is ordering to put
41% to level 2.
her in imminent danger to me or not. I am her father,
Right.
and I'm not going to allow my daughter to be put in
I didn't
danger.
say you had to. I'm just saying.
Right.
All right. Just thinking about
Is
that.
there any
perspective.
legal recourse? There's no criminal violation involved with me making her
Nope.
go through these channels,
So we
correct?
haven't
Well,
had
then we're
any
all set.
complaints of abuse here or anything. So.
No, yeah, this place is good, man. I
There's
got
nothing to
5
say with
kids
you.
here.
I'm
Yeah,
just-
all of her brothers are here. We're all united as a family for
I'm
the
just
first
letting you
time.
know. As long as you thought about that.
Oh, yikes. Pardon the confetti with 200 bits. Air horn. Purple Pondini with 1,000 bits. Absolutely insane. Thank you. And then Vast Lunacy with 10 tier 1 subs. Thank you very much. I and all of the gift sub recipients are very appreciative of that. Wow, that hype train just accelerated to 1,000 miles per hour immediately.
Avenue. Looks like you got your.
Thank you for all the generosity. We must be over level 5 now.
We're very well prepared for this, sir.
Right.
And I didn't mean to be rude coming off the rip like that.
It's fine.
You know, it's just I felt violated immediately because I haven't committed a crime.
Because she called
and
us,
now
I
there's
understand.
police in the driveway. And I told her, hey, I know you're on Strickland waiting for an escort, and I've already advised you not to come on my property. If you come on my property, I'm going to have to have you trespass.
Instead of having her down the road.
Okay,
so.
but still,
Yep.
if anybody's ever going to escort here, she's not allowed on this property. She's not allowed on this property, and I would
I'll
like
let
her
'em know.
warned right now.
Yep, I'll tell
and
her to
she
park
will
in the
be
street.
trespassing.
Tea with Goblins with 100 bits says, I know I mentioned it before, but the anti-vax sovereign citizen losers are still camped out in and around Canberra, the Australian capital. Yesterday they were squabbling over whether to set up a micronation on the lawn of Parliament House or just to simply try arresting the government again. They have been given until noon today to leave their campsite, which is about an hour. This ought to be interesting. Fun. Sky Comet Fallen says, geez bro, learn what a condom is. The world can't handle more stupid people breeding like crazy. 163% to level 5. I don't like the implication that intelligence is inherently hereditary. It's not. Educational level, access to education is the most important factor. Like, I don't think my parents are particularly smart, but I think I turned out okay. I don't know, though.
Pass next time. All
All right.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Any other questions or anything I did
God
for
bless you and yours. Be well, be
We don't
swell.
shake hands. That's
Stay
why we
safe.
gotta
Yeah,
wear the mask.
dude, it's so
Okay.
much. That's just pure paranoia.
I get
Oh, he's an anti-masker and a COVID denier, too. I'm shocked. What is... Wow, he's a Trump supporter, and he's involved in a custody battle, and he hates the government, and he's suing the IRS, and he's potentially losing his kids, and he doesn't believe in COVID. What a very unique personality that isn't mirrored by countless other MAGA supporters.
it, but
mortality
still.
rate is less than 1%. You probably
Untrue. Princess Amelia with 100 bit says, perhaps if I argue with policeman some more, he'll let me do what I want. I don't get this mentality. Privilege. He is incredibly privileged, and he thinks he can get whatever he wants by talking his way into it, which has probably worked a lot of his life. Nick says, heritability of intelligence aside, I still don't think this guy should breed because he should not have the chance to shape a young mind. I don't disagree there.
going to die of pneumonia or something before you ever get COVID.
I share the same opinions you do.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I'm in.
You can get pneumonia from COVID, you idiot. They're not mutually exclusive. Pneumonia is something that can happen as a result of other, like, infections and other conditions. What? Do you not understand that a lot of people who die of COVID die of pneumonia caused by their COVID, you idiot? I hate these people.
In the uniform, I gotta
Right.
go by our policies.
Right, official capacity. I
You
get
think
it.
I like wearing the mask? I
No.
think it's pointless.
And you know what? I'm actually pleased to see you wearing it. And I'm going to make a story of that later on because my wife and I have been talking to a number of attorneys around the state about police who aren't wearing masks and are within 6 feet of other
Well,
people.
we have the policy. That's why I have to wear it.
That's good. I'm
My
glad the
personal
state police are
choices,
doing
I
that.
don't
That's
want
Troop K, right? Out of Colchester?
out of Colchester,
Very good
that's
job. Well done, Troop K, out of Colchester, ladies and gentlemen.
Any other
This man is wearing a
questions
mask.
Or anything I can answer?
So you don't believe in COVID, but you're also with presumably your current wife talking about being mad at cops for not following COVID restrictions, even though you don't believe COVID is an issue. Very consistent.
No, that's it, man. Thank you very much for your
You guys
service.
have a court date on Wednesday. Make sure you're there. Bring whatever documentation you want to bring for them, all right?
Now, is it customary for a police officer to make me aware of my court date, or does the court have to do that? Don't I have to be advised and made aware by the court? Aren't I supposed
Probably.
to get a letter in the mail? Well, then I'm not going to
listen.
acknowledge any court date until the court tells me
Well, I'm not
what
here,
my
sir.
court...
Odd. I would have just thought, oh, thank you for letting me know. That's a nice heads up before I get the letter from the court. Weird. Dank Herm with 500 bits says, glad I came to catch a live stream. I watch all your VODs. Well, I'm very appreciative of that. Thank you.
I'm not a marshal. I'm not serving you.
Correct. There you
I'm
go.
just saying.
So there you go. I don't have to
She's
show
saying
up.
you have one, so if
Well.
you forgot or whatever.
Sorry, I'm a little slower today in my responses and like my brain functioning. I had to get up really early. I wasn't feeling very well this morning, so I got up hours and hours earlier than I normally do, and yeah. So I'm a little slower on the uptake today. Bear with me.
There is no court date that I'm
Give me
aware
the
of.
heads up.
I took custody of my daughter on Sunday. There's no way I got a court date on Wednesday.
Well,
Let's
Friday,
put it like that.
whatever
Or
it is.
Friday, whatever it is. Until the court.
Why do you assume you're that intimately aware of the inner workings of the court system and how long it takes to get a court date set for this particular matter? He's overconfident. Lily Lovestuff says, Jesus, if I had the compliance or confidence of one of these white men, I could be unstoppable and it would be over for bitches.
Court notifies me.
That's
I
fine.
have no court date.
Absolutely.
All right.
Sounds good?
Oh yeah, I'm all set. You're dismissed.
You're dismissed. These fucking people.
Stop wasting taxpayers' money showing up for civil matters.
What a loser.
What's up?
Oh god, is this later, I'm assuming? Oh no. The Atheist Brony says, when they say the survival rate of COVID is only 1%, I advise them to Google the modern mortality rate of the bubonic plague. With treatment, it ranges from 1 to 15%.
I'm doing fine. You got some court papers for me?
Yeah.
Good. Just wondering if you guys were going to make it.
I'm Marshall Woodruff. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. Thanks for
This is-
identifying yourself.
This is
I just need this, right?
yeah. No, this is a court order signed by Judge Armada that you have to give the child.
Yeah, that's going to put her in imminent danger. I don't think the judge is aware of the
Imminent danger.
situation, so we'll go ahead and wait to handle it in court.
Again, it's a court order. You don't get to just be like, nah. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. It's going to end badly for you because you will then be found in contempt of court. Like, you can't just say nah to a court order. If you're really rich or like friends with the president, you can probably get away with that. If you're just some guy, yeah, that's not going to end well for you. Bittergrin says, imminent danger of what? Getting vaccinated?
So
I can't put my daughter in imminent
not-
danger. You're going to ask me to put my daughter in danger? Is that what you're asking me to do, sir?
No.
What is your name, sir?
My name is Gregory.
Okay, and you want to enforce a court order that's going to put my daughter in danger.
I'm
Is
just
that correct,
asking
sir?
you
Is that correct, sir? You want me to release my daughter into your custody and put her in danger, sir?
Here you go.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Okay. There's a court hearing on May 20th.
Excellent. You better believe we'll be there.
You want my card?
No, you've been very professional. There's no need for me to follow up with you.
Does that guy ever take that hat off?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And
This guy come at Fallen says, I think he never grew out of childhood oppositional defiant disorder. I think a lot of people these days have that problem.
just note in any paperwork or any documentation you have of this encounter and following up with your job that releasing my daughter into your custody would have put her in imminent danger because she would have ended up back at her mother's house in imminent danger.
That's what the paper
All
says,
right.
yeah.
Thank you. All right.
Bye, sir.
Thank you. I'm doing well.
Lily Lovestuff says, you know he fucks in it and he isn't a gracious lover. He's in and out in 45 seconds. And then he lays down and he goes, did he come?
How are you? Good. If you're, Yes, I am.
Oh, look, another time the police have come to try and exercise this court order. Nick says, conservatism nowadays should be considered a subset of oppositional defiant disorder.
Yep. Have your name and badge number, sir?
You in the middle of a separation with, or split up with a girlfriend, ex-wife or something?
No.
You have a kid with somebody you're at odds with? A lady called.
I'm not
from
at
Vernon-
odds with anybody.
Vernon
There's
wanted
just
us to do a well-being check.
Oh, he's lying to the police now. That's an interesting strategy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my daughter's fine. I have 5 children here.
Get her name, Aaliyah.
Arraignment.
Ray, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Are you guys, are your body cams rolling right now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. What's the call number on this? Can you guys give me the call number?
Well, first of all, we can take care of all the schematics later. But first of all, we gotta let you know why we're here.
I understand why you're here. You want to do a well-being check.
The biological mother.
Again, he puts on the screen, these two aren't wearing masks. That's strike two, Tyrant Slayer Studios. You already said earlier you don't think COVID is a big deal and don't care. So why would I take your claim seriously here? I think they should be wearing masks. I agree. But I also take COVID seriously and am vaccinated and boosted and everything. You are using it as a strategic move because you are an opportunistic piece of shit. You don't actually care.
Called and wants a well-being
so
check
I can
done
confirm
on
that
her.
we have the. Do you know her name?
Yeah, Priscilla.
Okay. And wanted to know. Said she hasn't seen or spoken to her daughter.
Her daughter just tried reaching her and she's not responding, so I'm not sure why
You
she's
haven't-
wasting your time.
I've never met your daughter. She's 11.
Yeah, that's fine.
I feel really bad for these
Two
kids.
dads.
Yeah,
My
great.
dad.
Yeah, it's a very serious issue going on here.
Can
She's
she
in-
poke her head outside and we
She
can
absolutely can. It's
confirm
just-
that she's okay? And
Yeah.
then we'll be on our way.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just go ahead and get that call number for me, and I'll go ahead and get my daughter for you.
Thank you, Timothy.
Yeah. Well, also want you to document in any sort of report that you guys are going to file that this is 72 hours consistent harassment by law enforcement and Priscilla.
So basically, for 3 days straight, the cops have come and tried to exercise a legal court order, and you have defied the court order thrice. You framing it in a different way doesn't change the material facts of what is happening. You know that, right? The judge isn't going to be happy that you are just going, yeah, fuck your court order. Not how this works.
Who have been constantly calling me at all hours of day and night for 3 days. This is the third encounter I've had with police and marshals in my driveway in less than 24 hours. It's absolutely unacceptable.
Okay, we're not
This
here
is
to
a civil.
harass you when someone calls
No,
us.
I
Call for
understand.
service.
I understand
we have
that.
a duty to do, especially if it's involving a
I understand that, but you might want to call Priscilla and ask why she's not answering her daughter's phone calls to learn and know that she's okay and why she's wasting taxpayers' resources.
They'll escalate the force if he keeps this up. No, they won't. He's white and wearing a Trump hat. They probably agree with him.
To do that.
They're cops.
Hi.
Hi, buddy. How are you? Hi, young lady. How are you?
And
What's your name, young man?
And hear this.
Tell him your name. He called you guys. He called the police like a week ago asking for help fighting for our freedom.
This is
Oh, these poor fucking kids.
my little brother.
He's upset about the state being locked down. We're very active here.
Aren't we all? We can all probably board each other.
Well, jump on board. We're suing the governor. You should too.
How much money is this guy wasting in frivolous lawsuits?
What's
And
your
I
name?
saw one at the
Araya?
Waiting pizza.
Araya?
Oh, okay. How old are you?
11.
Everything good?
I 5.
Hi, guys. How
Hi,
are you?
hi.
Yeah.
Very thorough checkup on the kids, cops. Don't even separate them from the dad at all. Just right when she's standing next to the dad, be like, you doing good? Fucking idiots. Auntie Pretzel says, I just want this guy to get arrested. This is frustrating. I know. Like, let me give you an example. When I was younger, CPS was called on my household for an incident. So CPS showed up, and you know what they did to question me about what had happened? One of them took my dad inside and questioned him, and then they took me outside and questioned me separately. You see how that works? That way, you can't have a parent standing right there and being like, the implication of, you know, they're going to hear what they say, and if your parent is right there, you're going to be afraid to be honest if something is going on. Absolute fucking awful cops. Nick says, I'd say he's wasting his children's college fund on these lawsuits, but let's be honest, he probably thinks only communists go to college.
Virtual high five.
She would like some of her toys and some things
I don't think he thinks only communists go into college, but he probably thinks only communists come out.
from home, so if you can have mom call and facilitate the means to get that stuff here, that'd be great.
Fire
Yeah, she's in Vernon. Hey, you guys gotta go back inside now.
Hi,
Okay?
buddy. How are you?
Hi.
Go back inside. Go back inside, you guys.
They're probably bored to tears.
Well, yeah, they love company. They love people. They love
Contactless.
police.
They love people. It gives them a chance to interact with someone other than myself, who's clearly a piece of shit.
Contact. There's your case number.
Excellent. Thank you
Alright.
so much.
All right.
Thank you
Yeah,
guys
all
very
right.
much.
These fucking cops.
Take care.
Yep.
So I'll keep an eye on this guy's channel, and kind of see what happens with that. Actually, was that an old video? Let me take a look real quick, because that was one of the more popular videos. That was a year ago. So I'm curious what happened after that. Let's take a look. So there's that video. Let's see if he has any follow-up videos to see what happened there. Really Love Stuff says, I deal with these I'm filing a lawsuit guys all the time. He's representing himself and reads contracts without signing them at all. This is a pain in my ass. I bet. There's a word for it in relation to sovereign citizens. They're called it's called paper terrorism. This guy also does the First Amendment audits thing and refuses to wear masks and gets kicked out of places. You get it.
It says on live.
Why does he have multiple videos with over 1 million views? There are a lot of sovereign citizens and also people who laugh at sovereign citizens.
It is the one, it is the only, it is your favorite tyrant slayer, fresh out of New England, representing all of the United States. But more exclusive.
I just want to see if there's any update on that case.
Folks, I guess first and foremost, make sure you check the link in the channel, in the video description here. We are going to be going live on a open panel hosted on Jeff is Here Live. We've got some great big news and great big plans to share with you as a community of auditors this evening who have put our time and resources together to make big things happen. Excellent. Thank you for joining me here, everyone. Sebastian Lawyer, Texas Daily News, Timothy Levens, Daryl Turner, Virginia Olson. Thank you very much. Comedy Corner. What's up?
This looks like a case update. Oh, he's drinking. Great. Hydrate and hats off. What would you like me to wear for a hat? Flower crown? Cool. I will put on the flower crown. Also the hydrate. Wabbajack says, the last I saw the kid was taken from him. He is, of course, trying to get them back. Oh, thank God. H-Baird says, set that intro to music and you get a mediocre 2000s emo song. Do you happen to know what video or around when that happened? Because if you made a video about it, I would love to take a look right now and be able to see. Flower crown. Oh, that's classy. That was a denim hat.
It's been 30 seconds. And I've still yet to get a viewer. Well done, YouTube. Well done. All right, there we go. There's a like. There's 3 viewers. It only took 45 seconds. This algorithm is really hating on Tyrant Slayer Studios.
You just know from more recent videos of his, Artie, Van Balen, etc. have covered. Okay, that's good, though. I'm really glad his kid got taken away.
And I'm here to bring you some very important updates. Before I get going, there's a few things I want to cover. Hello.
If you're filming yourself, mirrored sunglasses is not great. You can see the camera the whole time. It's very distracting.
Hello, Mr. M. From Arizona, in the house. Thank you so much for your support today.
Oh my God, get to the explanation.
This is how you build court cases. This is how you properly define trespassing. One of the things I want to to share with you before I start showing you this. This is months of investigating. This is what auditing looks like. This is how you build court cases. This is how you become a positive force for progress. And I'm going to share with you everything I've been doing behind the scenes because you, the audience, deserve to know. And that's what it's all about. It's about educating you. It's about, I mean, I've learned a hell of a lot going through all of this myself. And it's about making a real positive force for progress. So, before I get into all of that, I'd like to mention Long Island audits. Here's a young man who's got the decorum and the professional approach to be able to engage our local law enforcement officials and hold them accountable for what they're doing. Very much like what we try to do here at Tyrant Slayer Studios. And we are, we have been, we're going to be drumming up a ton of support. I've got a lot
Okay, I'm going to try one more, because this one says family court update. And then we'll move on.
while running video as well. I was actually able to gain
Oh god, is he fucking talking into a potato?
access unobstructed to some of my records yesterday. Imagine that. Imagine that. I must commend and give commendations to Court Service Center Manager Peter Dwornik. Please forgive me if I'm butchering that. Dwornik, D-W-O-R-I-N-K. Oh, I'm sorry. Dwornik, D-W-O-R-N-I-K. Peter Dwornik, you are a true professional. And the state of Connecticut.
Jeff! Thank you for the raid! Everyone, go check out Real Jeff Holiday here on Twitch, please. I've known Jeff for years now. I believe Jeff was on for a Chick Tract at one point. Really cool guy, very funny, very smart. Go check out Jeff. Hi everyone from the raid. I am Hannah. I'm a streamer who looks at all sorts of stuff. Looks at conspiracy weirdos, looks at crypto crap, looks at right-wing weirdos like Ben Shapiro, all sorts of stuff. Oh yeah, is this dementia? Today, we're looking at a very specific subset of conspiracy theorists known as sovereign citizens. Sovereign citizens effectively believe that the law does not apply to them and that they don't have to own license plates or driver's licenses. Often, as in the case that we're watching right now, there are child custody disputes. Not good. So, you came for an interesting one.
Should turn to Peter.
Oh yeah, Mega Money. We do a thing called Mega Money Mondays or something where we look at dumb stuff rich people buy.
Any sort of state worker, anybody working for the public should turn to Peter and take note.
Alright, I'm giving up on this guy though. At least we know from someone in chat who said his kid did get taken away, which is good, because he seems like a crazy person, quite frankly. So, let's move on. Speaking of sovereign citizens who don't understand how child custody works, here's a video entitled, Government Stole My Property, parentheses, child, how to protect your property from tyrants, the property, of course, being the aforementioned children. This person believes that your child is your property.
I'm just calling because my son was taken from me yesterday.
We often have bingo cards. We don't have a sovereign citizen bingo card. We should, though. I should make a sovereign citizen bingo card sometime. That'd be good.
The NICU at Children's.
Yeah, how old is he?
Technically he is not newborn state. He is 3 months only because he was born 3 months early.
Alright, welcome to the Freedom Unchained channel. This one's gonna be about property, sorta, kinda. It's another Carl Lentz video. Still haven't found much time to do videos for you guys. I need to figure out how to do shorter, quicker videos. Or maybe just some audio videos, I don't know. But I am out of my house, moving forward on my journey. So hopefully sooner or later I'll be out West Virginia, trying to help Carl Lentz get his stuff going on, his classroom built and everything, get him moving to help this community learn common law.
Oh, good. He's going to help someone build a classroom to teach more pseudo-legal sovereign citizen bullshit to even more people. Because that's what we need, is more people in this country thinking the law doesn't apply to them. That'll go well.
But, the trolls are going to hate this one because it's about...
Everyone who doesn't agree with me is a troll.
a mother and her property.
Your child is not your property. You are the, why can't I think of the word? You are the caretaker, you are the, no, that's not the word I'm thinking of. You are the, not custodian. You are the guardian, that's the word, thank you. You are the guardian of your child. You are the parent of your child, and that gives you certain rights. But your child is not your property. They are a human being that is also, ideally, protected and bound by the law insofar as minors can be bound by it, but they are certainly protected by it. This is why children, if they are abused or neglected, can be taken and then put into foster care or whatever, because they're not your property. Their rights as a human being to not be abused or neglected are paramount above your claims of ownership. You do not own them. They are a person that you are the guardian of. And if you neglect those responsibilities as a guardian, either through direct neglect or abuse, then you no longer will be the guardian of that child. They're not your property. Overthought says, these people would totally sell their kids if the cops didn't hassle them. Nick says, some of them would love to buy said children too. Ooh. What's wrong with that couch? I think it's a futon. It's a futon, which is like the Pepsi of couches.
Because...
Now, futons are the RC Cola. Okay, couches are Coke, love seats are Pepsi, futons are RC Cola. Glad we could clear that up.
The crazy left, I call the trolls leftists, because who else could be so stupid and ignorant than the left?
Burn.
And that's what the trolls are. We're just ignorant. So, they're gonna freak out because they don't know what property means. They think when you use the word property, that's, you're like, you have slaves or something.
If you're calling a human being your property, I mean, that's the implication, yeah. But either way, legally your kids are not your property. Like, that's factually incorrect. That is factually incorrect. Your children are not chattel. They are not, like, things you can own. That's not how it works. This guy come up following says, what's Big K Cola, Kroger brand? What is it? Probably fucking disgusting. Never had it. I don't know. Let's call that a dumpster couch. We'll call that a dumpster couch. When I first moved out and Jake and I were living in an apartment together, we had a dumpster couch. Someone left a couch out by the dumpster in our apartment. That couch became ours for like a year. I miss that dumpster couch. Dumpster couch. You're a weirdo.
Well, if you call your wife your property, or your children property.
Your wife, your spouse in general is not your property. Does he think your wife is your property? What?
Then, you're an evil, crazy Nazi, but, you know.
I don't know if I'd necessarily apply Nazi to that, but I'd call you a crazy person. Your wife is not your property. What are you talking about? Do you think this is like 1897?
Of course.
That's a shame. That's cool, though. What if I sign a separate contract that lets me be your property? Is that fine? Okay, we'll get a lawyer and we'll pound out this legal discussion.
They're the ones acting like Nazis, not one.
Your father is in chat. Sinner! I don't even know if you guys can hear her.
wanting people to be free and supporting crazy communists.
You want people to be free, but your wife is your property?
Leftist ideas. They just love to stay underneath their troll bridge and yell and scream at everybody that crosses and try to extort them out of their money. That's what trolls do.
I'm not extorting you, I'm making fun of you. They're very different. Now, India Owl says that's more like Old Testament shit, to be honest. Hydrate will do.
But, so, for the trolls to know what property is
he gonna Black's Law Dictionary 2nd edition this shit like they all do? Sky Comet Fallen says, I'm uncomfortable that the government considers my cat my property. It's the other way around. I'm my cat's property. Jamie Lynn says, speaking of property, my boyfriend took our level to the next level and promised me on Friday we can go shopping for a black leather collar and my dog tag that says Dabbies. The morning he told me this, I cried a little bit from happiness. I'm so excited that he's taking it to the next level. I can't wait to wear it like everywhere. Well, I'm very happy for you.
the right of a person, we mean man, to possess, use, enjoy, and dispose of a thing without restrictions.
And you think this applies to your theoretical wife and children? A thing that can be disposed of with no restrictions. You know, I honestly thought the thing he was gonna read, I knew it was gonna be untrue, whatever he said, and it wouldn't apply to wives and children, but I didn't think it would make him sound this bad. I didn't think it would make his case worse. Lily Love Stuff says, this is so gross, I'm sorry, but this man is absolutely disgusting. Yeah, I'm on the same page.
I.e., not the material object itself. So, this book, this is my...
Let me see. I'm trying to read it, it's backwards. Ballantine Law Dictionary. Something Law Dictionary. It's a law dictionary.
property. I got property rights to this book. This is not like...
No, this isn't YouTube TOS. He's allowed to be an idiot on YouTube. Ballantyne's Law Dictionary. Legal assistant... Okay.
Exclusive book is not my property, but the rights to use and possess this book exclusively to me is my property.
Yeah, your wife and your kids aren't that. Your wife and your spouse are not that in any way, shape, or form. What? You think your wife is that or your kids are that legally? Ballantine is a publisher? Okay, thank you.
So, a lot of things can be your property. When we talk about your children being your property, it's because you created your child.
That doesn't make them your property, you idiot! That's not how this works!
Then it becomes your property.
No! They are human fucking beings! That is not how this works!
And if you think about it, you flip it around, and because the child came out of the mother, and without the child, there is no mother.
What?
Or father, so...
Okay, so are you saying without the child, they definitionally are not mothers and fathers? Sure, but they're still people? What?
If you're the child, then, like, I am a child to my mother, which my mother and my father would be my property because
No, they're not! What? This is terrible. This is some of the worst reasoning I've seen on this channel in a while. And we watched Moose Conspiracy Guy the other day. The moose is loose. God just spoke to us through a fucking moose. That made more sense than this. I'm just pointing it out there.
because without me being born, they wouldn't exist in their form as mother and father to me.
This guy, to me, look, he reminds me a little bit of Peter. Like, it seems like he could be like, if we got into, like, Peter is introduced in, like, season 2 of the Hannah Reloaded show, right? Like, season 1's a little rocky, but then in season 2, you get a really good antagonist in Peter. And then, like, you get to season 3 and 4, and you start getting bored of the Peter saga. So then, like, they bring in Peter's weird cousin in season 5 to try and shake things up, who's also weird in a similar way, but it's basically just Peter with a different shtick. This guy reminds me of Peter. This guy is just sovereign citizen Peter, I think. Lily Love Stuff says, okay, the Moose Guy was the second best video I saw this week. The best video was very niche, Italian music TV related, and made me laugh so hard I puked. Well, I'm glad I could help make number 2. So that's good. Tea with Goblin says, it's a wonderfully bonkers solipsism. By being born, I create my parents as they are defined by mother and father. Therefore, I own them. However, the same does not apply to my children because I created them. Makes perfect sense. I jumped the shark. Oh, I jumped the shark like 5 years ago. We're in the spin-off era now. This is the Joni Loves Chachi of Hannah content. I'm just letting you know. We are well past shark jump territory. El Minato says, when will Ollie jump the shark? Atheist Brony says, so this guy owns the kids and his parents? I guess the world just revolves around him. I believe he's trying to say... I think he's trying to say it's like mutual ownership of property, but that's not the case. Human beings are not considered property and cannot be considered property. That's not how this works. I guess unless you're in the prison system and you're the property of the state. But your kids aren't that.
Me. Same thing with husband and wives.
No.
Okay, when you come together and you agree on uniting under God, you don't need to be married with a piece of paper from the government, because that's just a big old scam for them to get you in the jurisdiction and to control your relationship. That's just merging of two corporations and two persons. Merging two persons, which are corporations, organizations, whatever you want that to be. That's what marriage is, merging. So we unite under God. Okay, we write a contract up.
Maybe I'm too charitable, but I think he means property as in this is an attribute of this thing. That would be very stupid of him. If he thinks that's what property means in the context in which he is discussing. That would make me think less of him, quite frankly.
Prenuptial agreement or a trust. We'll write a trust to manage our relationship. Or...
Hydrate.
Yeah, a trust. We can do a trust with a unity.
Sky Comet Fallen, sorry I missed your bits, said, I'd like to ask him if he's the property of the cops, because without people like him, there would be no cops.
Uniting of two men.
He wouldn't be a civilian if it wasn't for cops.
Because women, you know, I always have explained this, woman is just a man with a womb.
This video has so many problems. I don't even know where to start with this one. Today I learned my grandmother is no longer a woman because she got a hysterectomy. Raven says, marriage is when no property. Anti-Pretzel says, next chud.
Okay. Man is just the physical body. Some call them human beings.
Stone Corbell says, words sound like other words does not mean that's how the words originated.
But a human being is just a monster a creation of something else.
Is this guy just blazed out of his mind? Man, like a human being is nothing but a monster, a creation of something else. I just got reading Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the postmodern Prometheus, or whatever the fuck the subtitle is on Frankenstein. I haven't read it since high school. Oh, Bittergrin says, but if a man owns his wife and his wife has a womb, then he's a woman? Modern Prometheus, that's what it is, thank you. Atheist Brony says, not understanding the definition of property wouldn't be that far-fetched. How much distance do sovereign citizens get from not understanding the difference between incorporated businesses and incorporated municipalities?
Which we
Raven says, old man yells at clouds. That's this guy.
are.
Yeah, that was before postmodernism. I apologize.
A creation of God, but God created man, not human. So back to husband and wife. So when they come together, the husband created the wife created the husband, so they're property of each other.
No! No, they're not! What? No! No! That look where he's like, duh! The look a man gives when he has just said the dumbest fucking thing you've heard all week. Honest Noir says, if what he's saying is true, I have one free uterus to give away to any local trans woman who would like to have it. If definitionally it'll make me a woman, I'll take it. I don't really want to get pregnant, but like, I'll take it. I'll just shove it in there. That'll be fine.
Not very hard to understand that.
I guess he didn't say I needed eggs. I'll just take I'll take the womb, no eggs. And I'll be fine.
But land. People think you're trespassing on somebody's property when you walk on land, which I don't believe anybody can own land because you really didn't create it. It's God's, so.
Why is every sentence a new level of, like, wrong? And I know people in the chat are be like, based? I get it. I understand. But practically speaking, he is fucking wrong. Practically speaking, in the society in which we live, he is wrong. People do own property. That's how it works. And you can be trespassed if you are on someone else's property and they ask you to leave and you refuse, then you've been trespassed and they can call the cops and get you to leave.
All God's creatures are able to use and enjoy land, and you can't stop somebody. But now if you maybe put a gate around there and you're using it for your chat,
I'll have you know, God has not picked up the tab for 1 cent of my property taxes, okay? If Yahweh wants to come down here and write me a reimbursement check, he can come in and out of my house all he wants. Until then, mine.
cattle, your cows, your pigs, your farm, then
those are chattel. You can own those because they are not legally people. You can own chattel. Human beings are not chattel. Unless they're imprisoned by the state because the 14th Amendment is actually kind of fucked up. Wait, 13th Amendment? 13th Amendment is actually kind of fucked up the way that's written. Slavery is legal as long as they're in jail. Anyway.
you're using that, you've created something around that land or on that land for your exclusive use and your exclusive purpose, your enjoyment of that land. You put a house on the land, the house is your property, the cows are your property, that farm.
The house is your property, but the land isn't. So I can come on your yard all I want, but I can't step foot on your house, in your house. Tea with Goblin says, okay, feminist theory nerd here. Earlier he referenced to women being men with wombs. This is actually premised on a very old model of sex and biology that sexologist Thomas Lacker refers to as the one-sex model. First proposed by Roman physician Galen, it suggests that there is one system of flesh, but women are simply inferior versions of the default male.
Is your property, but the land underneath is not.
That's interesting, because that also exists within I mean, that exists within the Christian mythology, too, with Adam being created first out of the dirt, and then the woman being made of a rib of Adam to be subservient to him. Basically, man is made of earth by God breathing life into it, but within the Christian mythology. Then woman is created as a secondary helpmeet towards man out of himself. Woman comes out of man, is subservient to man. Interesting, very interesting how this is a concept that has come out in so many different societies and theologies. Human beings. We're kind of dog shit.
Exclusive to you. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, that's not true, but that is what I'm manifesting in this world, because that's the only moral way to move forward in this world, because...
I know you're going to say that's not true, but it's what I'm manifesting. Alright, good luck with that.
Because, if we allow people...
Raven says, technically communism involves the abolishment of private property, such as massive acres of wheat fields or plots of land that was once underdeveloped for low-income housing, and then a certain comedian comes along to stop it because he has investment in poor people being far from him. Your private property is something that no communist wants to take. Yeah.
People to own land or possess land.
If you pay to subscribe to Hannah, then I, buyer of subscription, own Hannah. True. Yes. If you would like a fractional stake in my personhood, buy and gift subs. Not true. I'm a person. You can't own a person.
Or call land their property, then that allows people just to buy up land.
I should sell myself as an NFT. You can have a little receipt that says you own me, and then I have no other further responsibilities. That sounds great.
Hold it and not allow other people to enjoy it, and that's how we become slaves to the system. So if you want to talk about slavery, it's the owning of land by other individuals and corporations and people like that aren't using the land but can possess the land without using it.
Again, kinda based. It's just weird that he's mixing this with so much fucking bullshit.
Yeah, that is
rent-seeking behavior from companies that seek to purchase land in order to lease it out to people when they themselves are not actually willing, capable, or want to use the land themselves in order to just make a profit. I agree, that's not okay. That's shitty for the system, and it's not productive. But, you know. Not the other stuff he said. Bittergrin says, if you want to own Hannah, you'll need to frame her for a crime and buy shares in the private prison she's sent to. True. Raven says, no communist wants to take your personal property, is what I meant. Not private property. We want to not only take private property, but to use it for the good of all.
Going to have to stop. We'll have to...
Tea with Goblin says, actually, Hannah, since you're a streamer only by virtue of the viewers who watch you, we, by watching your stream, are your joint creators, therefore, you are our property. I shall be over presently to collect my pound of flesh. Please and thanks. Good argument. Quethalm says, I have now done more for you than you. I am God now. Kidding. Have $1. Thank you for the $1.
Figure out a better way to move forward in society than allow people to possess land. They can possess a house on the land, or a building on the land, or a tent on the land. We might, allow people to have yards, but if people are going to come into a community, then I think they should have equal rights to that land in that community. And if you...
Look, I agree that we should have big communal spaces, that people shouldn't just, be able to buy property and then rent it out constantly. It drives up housing prices, it drives up land prices. It's shitty. I get it. But I feel like he's explaining this very, very poorly. Sunale says, I have determined the definition of property is not coherent.
If you don't like your property shrinking, then you can get the fuck out and move somewhere else and go enjoy bigger land in the country somewhere. But individuals, corporations, anybody, man, has no exclusive rights to land. Only God created land.
Can we get back on how you think kids are property, please? Image Darkbeast says, we can't frame Hannah, that's what she wants. You have to display her on the wall with push pins or blue tacks. No frames for Hannah.
Now, if you take things from the land and create something yourself as a man, then that would be your property. So if you, like, take dirt and you, like, put some water and you, like, form it into a pot, then that pot would be your property. This is not the best place to do a video because you can hear all the background noise, which is horrible. But anyways, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today about property. I'm going to let you guys get to the rest, the Carl Lentz video I wanted you guys to watch and listen to.
Oh, thank God, he's almost done.
My dog's choking up a hairball over there.
Do dogs do hairballs? Cats do hairballs. Dogs puke. I guess I've only ever had short-haired dogs my whole life when I was younger. Do long-haired dogs get hairballs? Nick says, I think all the pot is this guy's property based on this video. His dog may be sneezing. Stone Corbell says, the thing that's weird about sovereign citizens is that they think that the way they believe things should be is already the way things are. I assure you that this isn't true because things would be way different for me. I assure you. Yeah.
But yeah, this one's for mothers and how to protect your property from the state when they...
Your child is not your property. He didn't even try and defend his statement very well at all. It was just word salad.
You know, label it as a child and take it away from you because they think that as the mother you aren't suitable. But we'll go put it in this home that 85% of children get abused, sexually assaulted.
Look, I don't think the foster care system is good in this country. I understand it's shitty, but that doesn't mean you leave kids in a situation where they are already being abused or neglected. That is 100% chance that they're being abused or neglected. I agree that the vetting and, what's the word I'm thinking of? The vetting and observation, that's not the word, monitoring of these situations in foster homes should be looked at much more closely. I agree, but, like, that doesn't mean you don't take kids away from abusive parents. Not cool. Oversight, yes, thank you.
In these state-run foster system, which is horrible. So I don't know why we're allowing the state to do anything, because everything they do is just a disaster.
Everything the state does is a disaster. Again, I am fully capable of criticizing tons of the stuff the government does. The government does a lot of bad stuff. Not every single thing the government does is bad.
You know the corona...
Did he blue screen? It looks like he internally blue screened and he's rebooting.
Communist virus 1984, whatever people like to call it. They keep the
Not that!
censors from banning you. I'm talking about their conspiracy to destroy the world.
This guy is just Peter! He's clearly as high as shit, and he believes in conspiracy theories. The only difference is instead of being a QAnon person, he's obsessed with sovereign citizen rhetoric. This is just alternate universe Peter.
I don't know where that noise is coming from. It's way too fucking loud.
It's Peter if he wasn't raised in the gun cult. Still crazy, but a different kind of crazy.
But anyways, I'm getting off track.
Were you ever on it?
Hope you guys enjoy this video. Please,
Yeah, if Peter's an NFT, this is just a different NFT of Peter with different features. Raven says, we're literally in Animal Crossing, 1894 by George Orlando.
subscribe to the channel. Please like the video, comment as well, and share it around to all your friends that need to learn what common law is and how to be free and a free man of the land, or a womb man of the land. And until next time, I'm going to leave you guys in love and light of One Infinite Creator. Peace.
Yikes. Okay, so that's what Freedom Unchained has to say. He thinks kids are property. The sovereign citizen stuff has a lot of crossover with parents who are having their kids taken away. I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but there's a very big crossover between people who believe in sovereign citizen BS and people who are having CPS interventions. I think it's because they get desperate and they really, really want their kids back. Like, even if they are abusive or whatever, a lot of these people do see their kids as their property, and they think, I can do whatever I want to my kids, you know? Fuck you, CPS or whatever. And they end up down these rabbit holes where they get involved with sovereign citizen stuff. It's a whole thing. It's really sad. Luckily, what this guy is saying is not true at all. So, you know, it is what it is. That's Freedom Unchained. Full of shit. Nick says, this guy is Pepsi to Peter's Coke. Excessive Observer with 21 months says, didn't say anything. Just 21 months. Thank you very much. What else do we have? Let's look at this. I think this is just a guy trying to explain what he believes is a right to travel. Bat, Cow, and Goat, thanks for 7 months.
I thought what I'd do would be to show people the lengths that I've gone to protect myself from ignorant and, in some cases, criminally liable public servants. This is my property. It's
okay.
Owned absolutely by me. Nobody's got any interest in it.
Okay, so you paid it off. Presumably you don't have an auto loan, so you own it. Cool.
I don't have anything issued by the DMV attached to it. I don't have anything belonging to the DMV.
Okay, if you have a vehicle that you're driving on public roads, you need to have a driver's license, you need to have license plates, you need to have registration, you need to have insurance on the vehicle, and certain states require a certificate of, what's the word? You have to go every so many years and get your car inspected to make sure that it's all good.
This is a notice of sale. I'm basically
Isn't that illegal? Yes, this is illegal.
letting people know that if they exercise dominion or they exercise control over my property, they agree to the terms and conditions of that contract.
That's not how that works. You can't just put something in your windshield and be like, if you confront me in any way, you have agreed to these tiny conditions I have written on a note card in my front window. Let me see. Can I even read this? This property is for sale as is. Purchase price $75,000. So is he saying if someone, like, screws with him, then they have to buy his car for $75,000? Which I imagine is well over the Blue Book value, based on the vehicle. I can't read the leftmost side.
I'm letting them know how much it costs and what they have to do. This little placard, it's a laser.
This one says, the personal property to which this notice, California Civil Code 18, is attached to is absolutely owned, California Civil Code 678 and 679, by one of the people, California Article 1, Section 1, California Government Code 100, 181, and then there's a bunch of other citations, Richard Parks Iverson.
Both of these are laser etched placards. This tells people who owns this property.
You know what else would do that? A registration. And that would be actually legally binding.
It's mine. I keep the vehicle code. I've got a couple of copies of the vehicle code. This is an older 2002. Comes in.
If you get pulled over so often that you feel the need to keep a copy of the vehicle code in your car, stop breaking the law, asshole, is probably a clip that needs to be used for you.
handy. It's got stuff in there. I also have a volume of the annotated vehicle code. This is a 5-volume series. Keep a hard copy in here too. I've also got a for sale sign, and as you can see, private property no trespassing sign.
Ah, yes, the legally binding private property no trespassing sign in your vehicle. Makes sense. I've been pulled over exactly once. It was like my 17th birthday or 18th birthday, I don't remember. I had just gotten myself, for my birthday, a new phone, because I used to be able to re-up my contract on my birthday. Because I think originally when I first got a phone in like middle school, it was on my birthday. So the contract just renewed every other year on my birthday or whatever. I was really excited to get home and unbox my new phone and, you know, whatever. And I was on rural roads and I was going like 70 miles per hour or something. The speed limit was like 55. So that wasn't cool. But, you know, I was 17, 18, wasn't paying attention, was just excitedly trying to get home. So I was pulled over once, and that's it. And that was over 10 years ago. Or about 10 years ago. How old am I? Oh no, I'm at the age where I forget my age. When I was younger, I used to be like, how do older people just forget their age? It becomes irrelevant at a certain point. It's been like 10 years, though. And I haven't been pulled over since. Hydrate. I think I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm 27. I'm pretty sure I'm 27. So it'd be like 10 years. Okay. Nick says, this is a lot of effort to go through to say, whatever, I do what I want.
Because apparently, they don't get it. I also keep...
I'm old enough to do anything I want to do legally. I could rent a car. I passed all the milestones. It's all downhill from here. No, I'm not even 30.
A folder in here that in the event I'm pulled over, I'm going to offer this to the officer.
That's true, I can't run for president. You know, that's not something I ever plan on doing, though, so not super relevant.
And I'm going...
How old is 27 in reptilian years? I am 8 years old in reptilian years. We live a very long time.
To let the officer know that,
Twitch is basically our version of a daycare center. So.
I want it submitted into the record of his investigation. Contains some sections of the California Constitution and some citations from federal and state courts, and also the codes of California. And the objective is to inform the officer of certain relevant issues in the hope that he does nothing more than comply with the law.
So you want to dazzle him with bullshit, or her, into not giving you a ticket. Make them confused enough by your pseudo-legal nonsense that they don't bother giving you a ticket. It's basically what you said. Because all the stuff you're citing is bullshit. You are cherry-picking laws that you do not understand. You need a license, you need registration, you need insurance, you need to have your car inspected.
For example,
if that's a requirement in his state.
We're informed.
Which I want to say it is in California, but I'm not positive.
That there can be no sanction or penalty imposed upon one because of the exercise of a constitutional right. Well, there's some rights.
Oh god. I watched part of this earlier, and this is the part I skipped to.
I have the right to own and enjoy property.
Okay. You can own and enjoy property. I don't know if the language actually says enjoy property, but you can own and enjoy it. But that doesn't mean there can't be restrictions on how and when and where you use that property. For instance, if you want to use that car on private property, you don't need a license as long as it's only ever on private property. You don't need a license, you don't need a registration, you don't need license plates. The second it touches a public roadway, you require those things. You require driver's license and all the other things I listed to operate your vehicle that you own on public roads. Period. End of discussion.
I have the right not to have my property taken from me without due process of law. Or taken from me for public use without being paid for it. I also have the right to peacefully assemble, which means I can use my property to go meet with people and discuss my rights.
This is such a bastardization of your understanding of how your rights function, it hurts me physically. Okay, so you have a right to assemble. Correct. You do. However, that does not mean any illegal activity that you do in the course of attempting to assemble is therefore legal. It's not how this works. Like, for the same reason you can't jack a car and say, "Give me your car! I need to get to a rally, or I need to go assemble with people." That's not legal just because you are then using that conveyance to get to a constitutionally protected activity. Same applies here. Yes, you have the right to assemble, or protest, or whatever, but that does not mean you get to break the laws on the way to the protest or to the assembly. That's not how this works.
And, just in case, I've got a bunch of rights that are in reserve as well. And according to the court in California, in 1976, obviously, police officers must obey the Constitution and may not deprive persons of constitutional rights.
And they're not denying you of any constitutional rights by requiring you to comply with the law.
Makes sense to me. As a matter of fact, ignorance of the law does not excuse misconduct in anyone, least of all a sworn officer of the law.
Correct. This applies to you because you don't understand the law.
Yes, that was Supreme Court of California, 1917. Huh. Interesting stuff, isn't it? Here's another one. Statute does not trump the Constitution. That's what that is.
And it doesn't. Nothing about driver's licenses, registrations, any of those are unconstitutional. This has been tested in the courts. The courts have said it's fine. The courts have said driver's licenses and registrations and everything are great. You can do them. That's fine.
It's a statute. Part of the
Like, these are things that were tested in the courts in, like, the 1930s. This isn't even recent case law. This is, like, old shit.
Statute. It's not the Constitution. What they're telling us is statute does not trump the Constitution. As a matter of fact, it is settled that the streets of the city belong to the people.
Okay, and the people who elected the government decided, hey, you know what would be great in our representative democracy if we passed laws that said you had to prove that you're able and capable of driving a motor vehicle in order to do so on public roads. Let's institute statewide driver's licenses and a test that allows people to make sure, hey, yep, I'm competent to drive, and registrations to ensure that we know who the vehicle is registered to, blah, 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 blah. All the other stuff. Insurance in case you get in an accident to make sure everyone's covered. Yup.
And the use thereof is an inalienable right of every citizen of the state.
Okay. Put your bike on the street and use it. But if you want to operate a motor vehicle on that street, you need to have a license to do so. You can walk across the street. You can make use of the street. But if you specifically want to use your motor vehicle on public roadways, there are restrictions.
I'm a citizen of the state.
They will do they'll spend hours researching, air quotes, this pseudo-legal bullshit instead of just fucking getting a driver's license. It's not hard.
As a matter of fact, an officer who, as you can see, now, according to the legislature, the ownership of property is absolute or qualified. Well, if it's qualified, then maybe somebody can take it under the appropriate circumstances.
I mean, yeah, the cops can impound your car.
In any event, this is something that I would submit into the officer's investigation. Additionally, I would supply the officer with a copy of this. This is an executive order of the state of California signed by George Deukmejian.
In 1989.
See? That's George Deukmejian's signature.
Okay.
And this executive order applies to police officers and all other government agents. And what it's telling them is, hey, don't be taking private property absent due process of law.
Your car being impounded isn't that. Sorry, there's a person at the door. Oh, it was just someone walking by.
Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So these are some of the links that I've gone to protect myself from ignorant and errant public servants who are supposed to know what the law is they're allegedly enforcing. I've also got a contract posted in the rear window. So
not legible in any way, shape, or form.
if a cop walks up and looks at it, hey, what's this? It's a contract. Don't touch or you agreed to buy it. See,
That's not how anything works.
I don't have any of the state's brand.
Yeah, you're driving around without a license. That's not going to go well. At best, honestly, the cop might be able to see a piece of paper in your rear view window, and they might assume you just bought the car, and those are temporary plates in the back window that they just can't read, and they might just be like, ah, there's temp plates. They're not very visible, but I don't care. And not deal with you.
Or state's property on my property. Therefore, the argument
He's gonna get his car towed.
can be made that the state has no interest in my property. So if a cop decides he wants to take it, on whose behalf is he taking it?
The state. You would be taking it on behalf of the state because you'd be illegally driving it on public roads, which is against the law.
If the state doesn't have any interest in it, who does? Nobody. So he's taking absolutely own personal property without a warrant. The streets...
You don't need a warrant to take someone's car when they're clearly committing violations of the law using that car? What?
belong to the people. The people have a right to use the street, to go to the store to buy food.
Again, if you want to walk there or use a bike, I'd suggest you use the sidewalks, and I'm not sure the legality of either of those things in your particular community in California, but in order to operate a motor vehicle on those streets, you need a license.
To buy shoes.
I feel like a broken record here, but like, I don't know how to hammer into these people's heads anymore. You need a license to drive a car.
To go to the movies, to go to the beach. It's their unalienable right to do so.
You can walk there all you want.
I didn't write the rules. I just found the rules. And that's what the rules state.
That guy's ignorant. That's a shame. It's always a shame when people don't know what they're doing, isn't it? I mean, it's not a shame for me. It's content, but you know. Alright, let's see what else. How about some Glenn cereal? What's Glenn doing? These are old videos. I think he's embroiled in his court case right now because he got charged with like a Class C felony, which I've been over multiple times, so I'm not going to do it again. But Glenn Serio, pretty notorious First Amendment auditor, fucks with cops pretty consistently. goes into places and films strangers and annoys them and gets the cops called him a lot. So let's see one of his videos where he does what he always does.
Can I help you?
Can I help you?
No.
What's your name, badge number?
Gregorio 6827. How can I help you?
Is this a parking spot?
Nope.
This isn't a parking spot. So why are you parked here? Roll your window down. Down.
The cop's just eating his fucking soup. He's like, alright. It's too late for this shit. Oh, wonder what kind of soup that is. Just filling him eating soup. This is like an avant-garde student
Roll your
film.
window down.
I feel like I'm watching Empire.
Down.
There's something I can do for you?
Yeah, I'm asking you why you're parked in this isn't parking. This is a fire lane. You're blocking a fire lane. You're not in emergency capacity. So call your sergeant down here now, or I'll do it.
This is a private business.
It doesn't matter. You're not. It doesn't matter. Call your sergeant here now.
Let's go do this.
You've been ordered to call your sergeant. That body cam should have been on the whole time.
I don't know if they actually have to be on if you're not interacting with someone immediately, because, you know, they do have a battery limit. I'd rather they wait to have them on until they're actually interacting with someone. The cop should not be parking in an emergency zone. I don't necessarily disagree. I just find Glenn hilarious in the way he, like, fucks with people. Not hilarious in an I necessarily agree with him way. He's an asshole. But the interactions are just always so interesting. Like, I don't think these people are hurting anyone in this current moment. Like, should they be there? No. But Glenn paints himself as this, like, oh, I'm gonna stop police corruption. And it's like, the guy's eating fucking soup in front of a mini-mart. Out of all the policing issues we have in this country, this isn't one of them. This is just a waste of everyone's time, and he just does it for attention. And then Andy Owl says, trying to be a Karen to the cops is certainly unique. Yeah, it is.
Let's do this. Because it's private property. Let's go see if this gentleman has a problem with parking right
Sure, let's do that. Let's do that.
Or just show that it's a fire lane.
So
Show
any
it's a fire lane. Show me where it's marked as a fire lane.
any sidewalk that's
Is that what you
against
think?
no, that's the way it is. But
So it's not even a fire lane! What an ass.
buddy,
Question. This guy has a problem with me parking right here. He thinks it's a fire lane. This is private property. Do you have a problem with me parking right there? Thank you very much.
Can people? Is that a parking spot? So you're okay with anyone parking there?
As long as he's in the vehicle, he can be in there. We
So if he's in the vehicle, he can sit there as long as he wants.
Yeah, we don't take off people if they're in the vehicle.
Okay, because usually
This guy doesn't want to deal with this right now. Just let him fucking sit there and hit his jewel pod or whatever. He doesn't deserve this shit. Overthought says, why do I feel like we're going to see a video where he follows a cop into the bathroom and just knocks over the stall until the cop comes out? You're not completely wrong. One of the reasons he got arrested was because he was like, he got arrested the day before for harassing the cops. And then he went back to the police station like the next day, and he started filming through the windows of the police station into the police officers' offices on the outside of the police station. So he got arrested for that one. And also, like, a cop was pulling into the police station, and the cop was like, hey, what are you doing? Because he's just skulking around the police station, which is suspicious. And he puts his hand in his pocket like this, and then he immediately pulls it out. And bear in mind, Glenn had allegedly called the police previously and made a gun threat towards the police. So he's there with the cop, and he, you know, like he's gonna shoot him out of his pocket. So yeah, he got arrested, and I think he's getting charged with a Class C felony, so.
You can't park on the side of the building. Like,
how was he not shot or tased? White guy. White guy. The cop did jump, though. The cop kind of... But I think the fact that he was a white guy helped.
I would get a ticket if it was me.
That's private property. That wouldn't be.
Right. But you're not the owner, right?
No, exactly.
You're just an employee. So that's you're just making an assumption.
Glenn, let it the fuck go. Go away.
You don't know for a fact. You're just...
Okay, yeah, so...
So you'd have to call your manager or your boss.
Yeah, but I don't think that's necessary at this moment.
Right. So...
Okay, so...
But he's not supposed to park there, regardless.
That's not...
Because if
The
it was
Menace,
me,
thanks for
they
following.
would tow my car. So just because you said it's okay... Yep. So he's not...
Be on his way here to talk to you.
He's not the manager.
Oh my god, they're actually bringing the fucking supervisor? Must be a slow night.
He's not the owner, right? Just because he said that's okay doesn't mean that's the right thing to do.
Oh, okay. He's the representative for the business.
He's an employee.
Again, I'm done talking to you.
He's a clerk.
My boss will come
You're not
here
done
and
talking to
you
me.
anyways,
I
all right?
tell you what to do. You work for me. You're a public servant. You
Oh, he's one of those people.
work for me. You're going to make me? Do
Back away
it.
from
Make me. I want to see you make me, buddy.
By the way, in a previous video, someone else made the same claim because, Glenn was in the post office harassing people and filming them and stuff, and the cops were called and they showed up. And one of the other people, bystanders in the post office, was like, do something about him. You work for me. Which is a line Glenn uses, but in that case, because Glenn wasn't the one saying it, Glenn was like, he doesn't work for you. He works for the community. He's just a hypocrite. He knows what he's doing.
You ain't big enough. You ain't big enough. Believe me, you ain't big enough.
What is Glenn's fucking malfunction? It's so sad.
You ain't big enough. You are not big enough. If this was me, I'd be towed. They claim it's private property.
If you were sitting there in the car while it was running and it was an issue, they'd probably just be like, knock, knock, knock. Hey, could you move your car? And a normal person would be like, yeah, sure, sorry, and they'd move to a different spot. But it also looks like it's really late at night and no one's at the gas station, so I don't think they really give a shit whether it's a cop or not.
Okay. Doesn't look like a parking spot. Cars have to get out and in.
He's not stopping them from doing that, from what I can see. I operate a vehicle on a very regular basis. I could get around the cop. Not a big deal.
Got the blue line flag. Look at that. It's all tore up. The blue line flag. You're a canine unit. Where's your dog? Where's your dog, man? Any dogs back there? Okay, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do.
Carney says, I have my issues with cops, but this isn't helping. Agreed. Like, the solution to police misconduct is not also to do this. You're not helping. You're making things worse.
So if it was me or you, we couldn't park there, right? But it's okay for him.
Yeah, just bring random people into it.
Yeah, but he's parked here, right? He's sitting here.
Pyromancer says, I've been seeing the Blue Line Punisher skulls a lot lately. It's super cringe. I know. Even the Marvel had a thing where the Punisher did a panel where he was like, saw that on a cop car and he was like, don't fucking do this shit.
Right? So he's like parked here, right? He's parked, but I'm just getting...
You just left it there, you wasn't in the car, and it just parked there?
Right.
You're a toy.
Okay. How long can you sit in your car?
Why are you bringing random strangers into this? Who cares? Okay, here comes the other guy who's also gonna park right there. I love it. What a power move.
Back away for a second.
He probably, the community that he does this in knows about him. The cops do, because he does it so often. So he probably went up to the window and was like, it's Glenn. He's doing the thing. He's just doing asshole stuff.
Private conversations aren't allowed. Okay. You work for the public.
Private conversations aren't allowed?
Okay.
You work for the public, buddy. Private conversations aren't allowed. You work for me. I pay your salary, okay? Gregorio. Ooh, you got a knife. Ooh, wow. You think you're Rambo, huh? You're a dangerous one. You're a dangerous one.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Why is that?
You shouldn't have a knife that long.
Oh, yeah?
You shouldn't have a knife that long.
Okay.
Is that issued by CLPD? That's quite a big knife, dude. We gotta get that taken from you.
It is weird that the cop has a knife. I'm gonna have to agree with that one.
I'll make sure they take it from you. Don't worry, dude.
Like, I could theoretically see one being like in case of a car accident or something, having something as like a seatbelt cutter or something in the vehicle. A cop just carrying around a knife is super fucking weird. Again, I know, cut people out of cars would probably be a justification, but you could just get a seatbelt cutter that isn't a giant fucking Michael Myers knife.
Yeah. That's over 4 inches.
They already have a gun, so who the fuck cares?
That's over 4 inches.
You can't wish harm on people. Sorry. One sec. Gotta get rid of that comment. Can't wish harm on people on Twitch chat. Sorry. DOS. I'll get in trouble if I don't enforce it. And you shouldn't do it.
Uh-oh, he's gonna try to trespass. He's gonna ask for a trespass. Public easement now.
Glad the guy has what? Class 6 felony on him? Class C felony. It's a Class C felony that he got charged with. Carney says, is this what white privilege looks like? Yeah.
You like to break the law, huh, buddy? You're trying to ask for a trespass, but he's not the owner of the facility.
You don't need to be the owner. An employee can tell you you're trespassing. Like, the person who's in charge of the store at the time, either a manager or if there's a sole employee, they can tell you as a representative of the business, okay, you need to leave or you're trespassing. Like, how do you think this works? You think they need to call the CEO of McDonald's if someone is being belligerent inside a McDonald's to trespass them?
That's right. He is not the owner of the facility.
Doesn't need to be.
You're trying to ask for a trespass, but you can't because he's not the owner. He's the store clerk.
Why does he think that only the owner... I don't even know where he would get that misinformation.
So you can't do that. That's illegal. And if you solicited a trespass, that's illegal too. So you've committed 2 crimes.
That might be the case. I'd have to look that up. I don't know if the cops are allowed to go in and be like, hey, can you tell us to trespass this guy? He could probably go in and be like, would you like us to trespass this guy? But I don't think the cop could be like, hey, will you trespass him? I don't know. I don't know, though. Don't ask me. Hydrate. And hats off. The horns will do.
Right there. Oh, we got 3 cops. Look at that. We got 3 cops.
Sir, can you please give us
Nope.
a little distance?
Nope. Nope.
Oh, you don't think you need to give
Nope,
us a little
I
distance?
don't have to.
Well, that's fantastic. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. He was adamant that we grabbed some things that was parking the fire lane, so I had to make it clear. Just going to private business, see if there's an issue in the parking area. He said absolutely not. And then you speak to the supervisors.
Okay.
So that's the store clerk.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any authority.
Lily Love Stuff says, this employee just wants to smoke and be left the fuck alone. You work night shifts at a gas station because you don't want to deal with people. Trust me, I did it for 3 years, and despite being held up twice by gunpoint, I still miss that job.
To say yes or no.
The store clerk doesn't have any
No,
authority.
he has to ask
Okay.
the manager or the owner of the property.
If he's the only one there, he probably is the manager.
Okay. And you're assuming that that's never been done in the past?
What's that?
That he's never asked the store
I would like to
manager?
see written paperwork saying that that's been approved.
That's with the manager, right?
So you have all these cars here, right? How can people pump gas? Explain to me how people
They're here because you're doing this shit.
can get their gas.
Why do we have all these
You literally asked them to come.
cars here?
Because he called them.
Because you've requested them.
Also, there are multiple gas pumps open. It's fine. And there's not a single person has come in to actually get gas or anything in the time this interaction has been going on, by the way. It's been 11 minutes since the start of this interaction. Not a single actual customer has come in.
Requested 3 police.
So you had 1 officer here.
Okay.
Okay.
And
By the way, real quick, I just want to let you know I'm
we're
sorry.
audio video recorded.
Audio
Blah, 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 blah.
video recorded.
That's
okay?
obvious. Yeah.
Serial number 7414 in case you ever have any questions.
You
Right?
are
I just said Sergeant
legal.
Sergeant Fleet.
We can excuse him. He can go back to his car.
So what I'm telling
I want to know what Glenn's childhood is like, that he feels the need for this attention and to feel the need to take control of every situation even though he has no power. Like, what was this childhood like?
you have 1 officer here
Huh?
who is doing a business check, correct?
Business check?
Business check, yep. It's when we stop by, make sure everything's okay.
Okay, because I have video footage of him stuffing his face.
Look, the 7-Eleven I used to, the 7-Eleven I used to live by, would often have cops just kind of hanging there, because they were, like, on duty, but they weren't necessarily, like, driving around, right? And that 7-Eleven also had a history of getting robbed. Not super often, but it happened, you know? So sometimes the cops would just sit there for a little while, go in, get their coffee or whatever, talk to the clerks or whoever were in there, and then go sit in their car for a little bit, maybe drink the coffee, listen to their radio, wait for a call or whatever. It's just them having a presence there, right? That's not unusual. Lily Love Stuff says, you already know he had no friends, and his parents regretted every fucking second that they didn't. I'm not gonna read that.
That's fine. If he wants to shop here during a business check, he's going to check on the
I don't
business.
think he was shopping. He was eating out of a cup.
Okay.
So
So what I'm telling you, you've got 1 officer here. You You requested to see a supervisor.
Okay.
Standard practice for Seattle Police Department, if we have an officer out with a subject, we bring a second officer around, okay? We try not to ever do contacts by ourselves.
He doesn't count as second
For
officer?
safety.
He doesn't count?
That's the other car. So you have one officer, second car comes
Right.
for officer safety. Now you've requested a supervisor. That's the third car. So I will tell you right now, you would have had one car in this parking lot. You said, why are there so many cars here? Because of you, not because of him.
Okay, so you can blame me for that, whatever.
I'm not blaming you. I'm just clarifying.
Okay, so here's the other thing. He's got a knife that's over 4 inches on him. And that, I'm pretty sure that's not allowed. So
why?
Can I carry a knife that's over 4 inches?
No, you cannot.
Exactly. What does a police officer need with a Rambo knife?
So whether or not it's a Rambo knife, I think that's your personal description.
That's not mine.
What I can tell you, we respond to rollover collisions. We respond to all kinds of accidents. Knives
Again, just get a seatbelt cutter. I agree the knife is really stupid and LARPy, and it makes the cop look like a douchebag.
are used for cutting seatbelts. Knives can be used to help pry open doors when people are stuck. So absolutely, that's a device that's used to help other people.
Can we take a measurement of the knife?
No.
Carney says, I'm okay with cops just existing in theory, preventing crimes of opportunity.
I'm requesting. You are a public servant.
And
You work for me. Then you can be.
Bittergrin says, if the cop really needed it for that, he'd just carry a Leatherman. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he clearly wants to be like, yeah, I got a badass fucking knife, which is really, really embarrassing, but...
I actually work for the city of Seattle.
No, you work for me.
No,
I pay
don't.
your stuff.
I work
Yes,
for the
you
city
work
of
for me.
You personally pay
I'm the
my salary.
taxpayer.
So I will check my paycheck next time, but I'm pretty sure
This
it says
guy,
City of Seattle.
he decided to get out of his car now, huh? And he's got his gloves on.
So is there anything else I can help you with, sir?
Well, you haven't really answered my question. You told
I've
me
answered
that.
all your questions.
No, you haven't showed me
Sir,
proof.
I haven't answered your questions the way you wanted them answered.
She
but I've
has a
answered
question.
every one of
She
your
has a question. You want to help her? That knife's not allowed. I guarantee you within 7 days they'll take it from you. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. His opinion doesn't matter. They're gonna take that knife from you. You ain't gonna carry that knife around Seattle. If I can't carry a knife that big, you can't carry one.
Well, that's not how this works.
This is how that works. You would like to make up your own laws because you are part of the blue line. You are a blue line thug. You are a tyrant.
Why?
What do you mean? Why? Look at your car. Blue line flags all over it.
American flag on the car.
That's a blue line flag. That's a blue line flag. So that's your opinion that he's allowed to have that knife. That's your opinion, right?
Absolutely.
You haven't shown me proof that he's not allowed to have that knife. Why do you keep looking behind me?
I'm checking the people who are watching us right now.
Okay, there's nobody.
So part of my job is to ensure his safety, your safety, everybody else's safety around.
And you care about my safety, huh?
I absolutely
Oh, really?
do, yeah.
Okay. That's funny.
I'm sorry you find that funny.
I mean, come on.
I don't have. Here's the deal. It doesn't matter if we like each other or not. My job is to protect all people.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
You are absolutely right, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
If that's the true mentality you think, that's the right way to think.
I think that's the true mentality of every officer here.
I don't know. I've met some pretty dirty cops.
I agree that plenty of cops are dog shit. Glenn, your judgment is askew. You are the asshole in 99% of interactions I've ever seen. Occasionally there'll be something where I'm like, yeah, that's weird, like the knife in this video. But Glenn, you are the instigator in all of these scenarios. Stop it.
Some pretty dirty cops.
I would be hard pressed to find those cops in the city of Seattle.
Really?
I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm sure there are bad cops in every.
I don't agree with the cops on that one. I'm pretty sure you could find dirty cops in Seattle.
You guys had lots of riots back in the day, right? You guys had lots of
back in the day.
2000, 2001, 1999. You had lots of big, huge riots, beanbag guns. There were a lot of excessive force. There was CLPD was under sanction.
I honestly wasn't here at that
Okay,
time.
well, you guys were under sanction, right?
We were under DOJ, yes,
right. Okay.
For a short period of time.
So usually when that happens, you've done something to cause that, to lead to that, right?
Yeah, there was a settlement agreement.
Okay.
And do you understand the settlement agreement? You've researched all that?
So we wouldn't be hard pressed to find those cops because things did happen.
Hard pressed to find those cops.
Now or before?
There.
It's been 20 years. A lot of those cops have probably retired. I agree that, yeah, there's probably still, like, use of force shit in the Seattle Police Department. I'm not privy on it, but basically every police department in any metropolitan area is going to have that issue just by the nature of American policing culture. But the specific cops you're talking about probably aren't cops anymore, or if they are, they're probably riding a desk.
Okay.
Before, yeah.
So you're saying that it's all lies, or what are you
I'm
saying?
not saying it's lies. I just told you. I'm sure there are bad cops in every city across the nation.
So you're the supervisor, correct?
I am.
Supervisor is a sergeant?
That is.
Okay. What is his name and badge number?
Officer Varga, 8397.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to make much sense to me. But
Forcing contact?
yeah.
What do you mean?
You force this contact.
He should move his vehicle. That's, you know.
I'm sure.
I guess his camera ran out of battery. So that's Glenn, you know, being an a-hole. Oh god, he has shorts. What are the shorts?
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
That seems like mental illness. Oh boy. Alright, what else we got? Who's this guy?
I don't wear masks. Okay. You can ask me. Is there a law?
Well, actually, it's actually under business.
Okay, what law is that?
If you do me a favor though, next time you come in here, don't hold your camera over here. There's information.
And make sure that they respect our First Amendment rights to take pictures in public.
Just the license plates too. Bittergrin says, the most annoying thing about sovereign citizens is knowing that if a minority tried any of this shit, they'd be dead.
Alright, so
Alright, we're gonna go in and can't go to the front.
here it is.
The sign that says going through the
It says enter.
through the back.
So let's go check it out. Alright.
Oh god, look at those trucks. Why do the cops need that? Porcelain Giant, thanks for 15 months.
So here's some of their militarized vehicles.
Oh my god, I hate that shit. Gross. What would the cops even use this for? Ridiculous. Used for parades? I know they use them in parades. They didn't get them for parades, if you know what I mean. They have them in case they need to go break up any sort of, like, protest or riot or whatever. So they can move in a bunch of officers all at once to one location.
How's it going?
It's interesting that one of the memorial things has a more detailed face and the other ones are just silhouettes. It's kind of weird.
I was wondering, how many officers do y'all have at this, with the...
She looks horrified. Why is there an American Girl doll just creepily sitting in a chair in the background?
Here, the precinct 1, right?
Yeah, like in this town itself.
Yeah, just here with precinct 1. Y'all know how many officers?
We have
Over 100. Yeah, I realized there was a lot of vehicles out back, and I was just kind of checking it out, doing a story on the building in the precinct. Wanted to just check it out. So thank you guys so much. Who's this guy?
That's our constable.
That's the constable.
Nick says, interestingly enough, those two questions are very closely related.
All right, he's the guy. I see his name on the signs all over.
Yeah.
All right, this is the constable, ladies and gentlemen. He's got a nice picture there on the wall. Very friendly staff here so far.
Oh, God.
Those are just different sets in the game. Conference room? There's an interview room.
Ew. Carney says, from what I understand, the former military hardware they get, if they don't use it, they'll have to return it, so they're incentivized to use it as much as they can. I hate this country.
I don't wear masks. Okay. You can ask me. Is there a law?
Well, actually, it's actually under business.
Okay, what law is that? You know, Greg Abbott has already for federal buildings only, not state buildings.
The Debunking has made it clear for all.
Who?
The
I don't even know who that is.
Does he make laws?
Yeah, is he a lawmaker? Is he a legislator?
She's a county judge.
Is he a legislator?
She's a county judge.
Is he a lawmaker?
She's a county judge.
Okay. Well,
Okay, so she's a judge. She doesn't make law.
Ordinance is not law.
We're just here to get our videos, and we're going to be out of here if you just let us be.
Judges can make orders with the force of law.
Matter of fact, go ask Lieutenant Alfred.
Like, judges can make decisions, and especially over COVID, have made decisions about requiring masks inside courthouses and buildings like that are related to the courthouses. They're allowed to do that. Tea with Goblin says, the doll may be well there as a comfort for kids when they're being interviewed. I work part-time as a transcriptionist, and when police take witness statements from children, they'll often have a special child-friendly room with toys and whatnot so that the social worker and cops can interview them in less intimidating spaces. Just a guess. Oh, makes sense.
Wow. Well, I was starting to feel like they were going to pass. I don't think they should have a freedom shrine in a place where they make you put something on your face.
Yeah, they should have.
I hate these people, I really do. It's my God-given American right to spread germs to other people's respiratory systems.
Tyrant shrine. I'm gonna give them a minute since they've triggered everywhere. They all triggered, so I'm gonna hang around for a minute and get my
Is he unironically using triggered?
point across. And there's
Like,
some public
in
info I
terms
have
of people telling him to do something reasonable?
I haven't got to. Y'all don't have officer complaint forms?
Honest Noir says, if this guy just kept his mouth shut, the video would be a good representation of how weird and culty police culture is. Yeah.
Okay. Do y'all have like public information request forms? I'm sorry? I was just trying to get a Public Information Act request form.
Okay, you need to go downtown for that. That's at 1302.
For the constable's office?
Yes, sir.
I have to do it with the HPD?
No, there's 1302 at the constable's office.
Oh, okay. 1302 is
Yeah,
the...
that's the main office. This is
Sweet.
Courtroom, dude.
Sweet. I'll check that out and then...
If you do me a favor though, next time you come in here, don't hold your camera over here. There's information.
I definitely never film.
I just saw you do this. So just.
I was filming this.
And if you were, that's great.
Yeah,
I appreciate
yeah, it will all be posted on the internet, you know. So I'm definitely very respectful on what I.
It's funny to me that in this video the cops aren't even telling them not to film. They're just like, hey, across this thing there's private information. Please don't film that.
Capture, but also know that HIPAA laws and things of that nature, the onus falls on y'all, not me. So if y'all have private information of other individuals, then y'all are in violation of the law, not me.
And they can request that you not do something in order to preserve private information. And yes, I recognize that he said HIPAA, but I'm not getting into that. Privacy laws in general, them asking you not to film is them trying to comply with those privacy laws. They can do that. What?
Okay, I'm just telling you.
I'm just telling you though, if it's in public
I would
view,
appreciate it if you don't.
if it's in public view, then I can take pictures.
As far as the,
it's not in public view. It's behind a desk that you are.
As far as Open Record Act, you gotta go to 1302 to get that.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed.
Not a problem, brother. You be safe.
Mm-hmm. I hope you guys don't leave no private information out around here.
Not at all. Not at all.
All right. Heck of a crew here. How long's the... That's all they have to offer here, guys. I'm guessing I'm gonna have to go to the address that was stated and get that figured out. Y'all have a good day, guys. Mm-hmm. You seem very triggered about the camera. Y'all don't have camera guys come around very often? All right, all right. You seem like y'all are all...
They don't seem upset at all. They more just seem annoyed, like, oh, and one of these people. They don't seem annoyed even a little bit. They just seem like, oh, we're doing this now? Cool. They didn't ask you to stop filming or anything. Hydrate.
Worried about me or something. Everybody came. Oh, all hands on deck, huh?
You guys, here's the information if you want to redress your...
Later on, ladies.
Have a good day, ladies. Hey.
Offer any kind of complaint forms or public information.
What is this asshole doing? Alright, I'm done with him.
In Presteel County, Michigan, with Judge
Michigan
Aaron Gauthier, I think, and he's dealing with an unruly sovereign citizen for the third time in Zoom court. I will link part 1 and part 2, which has already been covered by Law Talk with Mike in the description below. Yeah, I chose to cover this video in particular because this is the hearing where the judge has heard enough of this sovereign citizen's word salad and buffoonery, and finally lays down the law with her. And it's pure gold. Let's get into the video.
Back on the record in the 53rd Circuit Court for the County of Presque Our next case on the docket is People of the State of Michigan versus Angela Marie
Jamie Lynn with 45 bits says, I'm needy and lonely. Ooh, ooh.
Christensen. It's filed 21-93185FH. We have Ms. Christensen attending by Zoom, representing herself.
Don't represent yourself. Not a good call.
And the prosecuting attorney, Mr. Radzaban, is here in the courtroom. We are providing public access both in the courtroom and online. And Ms. Christensen, although you're...
I'm very confused why she's in her own home wearing a mask and wearing it incorrectly at that. She's wearing a mask in her own home, but also she's not wearing it correctly. It's not over her nose. So it's weird for multiple reasons.
You're appearing from your home. For convenience sake, it might not feel like a court hearing, but it is a court hearing, so I'm going to ask you to please remove your hat.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Okay, thank you. All right, so as we begin the hearing, just like last time, I'm required each time to remind you that you do have the right to the assistance of a lawyer if you wish. And that includes the right to a lawyer at public expense. If you were
It's a message that she's a dumbass? That's a very strange political message.
And that you've previously waived that right and wish to represent yourself. And so I guess I want to ask you again, do you reaffirm that you'd like to represent yourself in this matter, or would you like to have a lawyer?
No, I would like to self-govern, and I stand on my paperwork.
So, okay, I'll ask the question. Why would you even file paperwork with the court if you self-govern? Position.
File 4 written notices that ask for some type of relief, and we had adjourned the hearing to today for any argument on that. So the prosecutor has had a chance to review them. So Ms. Christensen, you say that you stand by the paperwork, and that's fine. I do have the paperwork in front of me. Is there any argument that you'd want to make on your behalf right now to me in support of those claims, or do you wish to just rely on the written pleadings you file?
It is my wish to stand on my paperwork.
Okay. Mr. Radsbaum, do the people have any argument in opposition to those 4 notices?
Your Honor, I've reviewed the paperwork, and I guess while she may not recognize or honor the state of the law, I don't believe that there's any relief that's recognized under law that would allow you to dismiss this case against her based on what she's alleged in the paperwork. I fail to see it.
Okay. All right. Well, Ms. Christensen, now I'm going to make a ruling on the notices, which I'm construing as some motion or request for relief.
Presumably she filed some bullshit sovereign citizen paperwork, as they tend to do in court, that said like, hey, I'm not a citizen, so you can't charge me with whatever you're charging me with. This court has no authority over me. The judge asked the prosecution to respond to this bullshit paperwork, and he basically said, in a nice legal way, Judge, her paperwork is nonsense. It has no precedent in law whatsoever. She's speaking out of her asshole. And now the judge is going to rule on that, which he will rule in favor of the prosecution.
You know, if you're
I've got a written order that I'll enter. I'll read it at this point. Defendant, who at this point in the case is representing herself, has filed 4 handwritten notices.
I like that he already had his written judgment already ready, because he knew what he was gonna do, and the prosecution statement was a formality.
These notices appear to seek relief in one form or another. As to the first notice, defendant asserts that she is a woman and not a defendant. The court finds that Angela Christensen...
Yeah, that's a sovereign citizen tactic. Either I'm a man, not a defendant, or I am a man or woman, not a, whatever, not a person, or whatever language they particularly are using. It doesn't matter.
Is both a woman and a defendant in this criminal action. To the extent her notice seeks relief, such relief is denied. As to the second notice, defendant demands that any man or woman with a claim against her appear and present such claim in open court. To the extent that this notice seeks to invoke defendant's right to confront her accusers, this court will enforce that right.
Yeah, that's the state is the person accusing you in this particular case, I'm imagining. That's a pretty common sovereign citizen thing, too. When you're charged by the state for a crime, sometimes they'll be like, I have the right to face my accuser. Who is my accuser? No one accused me, because they think law works like you're 6 years old and literally someone has to see you steal a lollipop and someone goes to the cop and says, I saw her steal a lollipop, or whatever. No, a cop on behalf of the state, or whatever, or the state itself in an investigation can find you, what's the word I'm thinking of? Suspect of a crime. They can charge you with a crime, and then the state is the accuser, and the state can be represented by the prosecution. Sovereign citizens don't like that or don't understand it. MX Lava Lamp Clock, I'm glad you could make it. Welcome.
However, the right of confrontation does not require the complaining witnesses to appear at all pretrial hearings, but only the trial or any necessary evidentiary hearings. So to the extent that this notice seeks to require the appearance of any complaining witnesses at all pretrial hearings, such relief is denied. As to the third notice, defendant asserts that this court lacks authority over her.
Wait, she wanted all witnesses to appear at pre-trial hearings? Why? That's... What? I've never heard that one before.
And that only her creator has that authority. Without gainsaying the authority of the creator, it can be noted that religious traditions commonly recognize that the creator has instituted human authority as well.
Sick
In
burn.
this matter, the people of the state of Michigan, through ratifying the 1963 state constitution, as well as its predecessor constitutions, have established this court and its authority. The people of the state of Michigan, through their elected representatives, have established laws that apply in this court. And the people of this county have elected this judge to serve in this office.
I wonder if this was one of the more fun decisions he had to write that day. Probably breaks up the monotony. You know what I mean? You got to be a little tongue-in-cheek with it. Just like, at least I'm responding to nonsense.
And this court has subject matter over this felony prosecution and has personal jurisdiction.
Felony, too. I wonder what she's charged with.
Over this defendant. Any relief sought by this notice is denied. As to the fourth notice, defendant claims that this court and the government exist only because she allows them to exist.
Her personally? No.
To the extent that this assertion reiterates the proposition that our constitutional republic is founded on the consent of the governed.
Yes, but I know he's already going to go over this, but it's always funny to me when they think that the consent of the governed means each individual person only has to listen to the government if they consent. No, it's about the collective consent of society because we're a democratic republic that's a representative democratic republic. You just don't get to opt out.
Such proposition is axiomatic as a general matter. However, this proposition does not require that the government must obtain consent or permission from each individual person before exerting governmental authority over that person. Such an idea is nonsense.
Pow.
Result not in a constitutional
of your wacky claims too.
And would result not in a constitutional republic, but in anarchy. This defendant's views would render all the criminal...
She genuinely looks disappointed. Did she think this was going to work?
...criminal laws null and void, which is legally and practically absurd. Therefore, any relief sought by this notice is also denied. All right, so Ms. Christensen, all of the claims and papers that you have filed, I have found to be lacking in legal and factual merit, and I have denied any such relief, and I'm entering a...
That's fine. Can you please stop referring to me as a defendant? And
oh, yikes. No, don't do this. Don't do this. Butthole pucker. Don't talk back to and over the judge. No.
And I guess the next step will be, I guess I got to do the actual filing of the claims if you're going to deny all of those.
No, those, I don't know what claims you're talking about. You filed some claims or notices or requests.
No, I did not even file my claims yet. I did notices. I did not file my claims yet. I've been putting that off because I really don't want to have to file claims and ruin people's lives and ruin their jobs because they're not upholding my constitutional rights as a woman, not a defendant. I am a woman only.
These are not mutually exclusive. You can be a woman and a defendant, or a man and a defendant, or NB and a defendant, or whatever, and a defendant. None of the what?
I, woman Angela. I, woman Angela.
I, woman Angela. You, Tarzan.
I, woman Angela. That's it. Not defendant. I'm not a defendant.
You are
Well,
literally
you are.
a defendant.
Did you just try to perform a Jedi mind trick on the judge there by repeating I, woman Angela 3 times? Because you know that doesn't work, right?
And
Okay, in your opinion and legalese, yes.
Bittergrin says she's a woman, a defendant, and an asshole all at the same time.
Yes, but I am a woman. So do we need to do trial by jury when we can do my claims and file my court with your court at the same time?
I mean, it's a felony charge. If the felony charge is over a year in prison, then you're entitled to a jury trial if you want, I'm pretty sure.
Because that's going to be my next step, to file claims against everybody involved in this case. Because there is no verified claim, and complaints and claims are 2 different things. I don't want to file claims. I'm trying.
Is she trying to law-splain to the judge who presumably went to law school?
Trying very hard, and I've been trying hard to not do that. But I guess if we got to keep going, that's my next step. And I will file proper claims with the proper
Is she trying to vaguely threaten the judge?
people and the insurancing for the bonding. So I don't know what you want to do at this point. And I really don't want to have to do that.
Threatening the judge with a lien, because that always works out so well for sovereign citizens, doesn't it?
Ms. Christian, I got to tell you, I don't know what in the heck you're talking about. You're talking nonsense.
Well, that, Judge, is because you didn't attend YouTube Law School.
So here's the thing. I am not going to relinquish my authority in this case. I'm not. All right. The prosecutor's office can dismiss the case. They're choosing not to. So that means we do have to go forward to a jury trial unless you want to plead guilty. All right. But what I'm also going to do is your ramblings here today and at previous hearings, and after I reviewed your written notices, it's clear to me that you have no concept of the legal and factual issues at stake. And
I would never know anything about legalese because I never went to school to do the legalese. So.
Yeah! Yep! You don't know the law! Narnandia Owl says, going for the classic I'm a judge, you're fucked move, or the Marcel. See, it actually works when you are a judge, believe it or not. Nick says, I love how her Zoom display name is I, woman, Angela Christensen. I didn't notice. That's pretty funny. By the way, I should bring it up, because not everyone sees every stream. I've mentioned it several times. For those who don't know, Marcel is on the run from the RCMP. Marcel has not been posting videos, and we haven't been covering Marcel, because he is running from authorities. So, remember all the times Marcel was like, what I'm doing isn't illegal. Why wouldn't the cops come after me? In fairness, what they're coming after him for is separate from his alleged scams. But, nonetheless, good luck, Marcel.
I don't understand that part.
All right, you're illustrating my next point, and you have no respect for the authority of the court. You continue to interrupt me and such, and file these nonsense claims. So I am hereby withdrawing my consent for you to represent yourself. I'm referring this matter to the Office of Assigned Counsel for appointment. So any papers you file in this case, I will reject because they have to be filed.
Well, I don't accept that offer, and I do not require you to give me any court-appointed attorney, and I will self-govern because that is my right.
So what right is that then? I suppose that's something only a semester at YouTube Law School can teach. And good on the judge for withdrawing his consent. She doesn't realise it, but it really is for her own good. If she doesn't understand legalese or even court rules, she has no business representing herself.
Yeah.
But at least the next court hearing should be interesting, with her in the actual courtroom. I see a contempt of court charge coming her way.
I don't want an attorney. I don't do legalese. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful. I'm trying to be very decent.
You have failed.
Well,
I stand on my paperwork, and I'll do the rest of my paperwork.
Devin, thanks for following.
I will keep doing it, and now I'm going to file my claims, so that's fine. But no, I don't need no legal counsel. I refuse that offer. I
don't need no proper English.
Do not accept that offer. I'm sorry. With all due respect to you, I don't accept that.
She doesn't matter.
We are scheduling this next for a docket call on February 14th at 10:30 in the morning. And that
2 days?
And I'll refer it to the Office of Assigned Counsel for you to have an attorney at that hearing.
I gotta see this. Judge Aaron Gauthier. Is it Aaron? Hold on. Yep. I want to subscribe so I can see the follow-up.
You are no longer allowed to represent yourself in this matter, and you will be in person in my courtroom at that date and time.
I'm sorry, but I cannot be there. I can do it via Zoom, and I don't accept that offer either unless you want to compensate.
It's not an offer. That's an order.
Me for my gas and my time.
Pay for your
fucking yikes.
$86,000 reminds me of the time Devon Bay sent this invoice for $86,000 to Poughkeepsie City Court for the time he spent studying, memorising his notes and printing out his paperwork. Oh, and gassing his car for travelling and not driving to court. Oh, and let's not forget clothes for court. Unbelievable.
Because I can't do that. I can't even afford to. Sorry.
The judge is like, I'm about to ruin this woman's whole career right now. That look on his face.
Sorry.
Ms. Christensen, it's not an offer. I want to have you here because you've expressed such disregard for the proceedings. I want to have you here so you can meet your attorney. Ms. Christensen, stop interrupting me. It's not an offer. You will be here, or I will issue a warrant for your arrest if you refuse to attend in person. All right, we'll see you February 14th, or I'll issue a warrant for your arrest.
Case dismissed. Bring in the dancing lobsters.
You have a good day.
You have a nice day.
All right, we will be in recess until 11 a.m. for a civil matter.
And that, my friends, is how you deal with a sovereign citizen.
Completely ridiculous. Now I want to see, like, parts 1 and 2. Hold on.
This is Attorney Mike Grab. I'm coming to you from Chicago, as usual. And today,
Chicago.
A Zoom video. The prosecuting attorney, Mr. Radsvon, is present in the courtroom. And Ms. Christensen, at this time, I am providing public access both in the courtroom and online. I want to make sure you're aware of that. So this hearing is broadcast on the court's YouTube channel. And Ms. Christensen, we're here for an arraignment, which is for me to...
One sec. There we go. At what point does she show up? I just don't want to have to keep skipping over other people's commentary. And I've seen that lawyer's commentary before on this kind of stuff. He's great, but, you know. This is my stream. Where is she in this? There she is.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear now.
All right. Well, good morning. We are...
Yeah, this is the same woman. This is the first, I believe, the first appearance she had.
Calling from page 1, the case of People of the State of Michigan versus Angela Christensen, file 21-93185FH. We have Ms. Christensen with
We might find out what she was charged with here, so that's nice.
us by Zoom video. The prosecuting attorney, Mr. Radsvon, is present in the courtroom. And Ms. Christensen, at this time, I am providing public access both in the courtroom and online. I want to make sure you're aware of that. So this hearing is broadcast on the court's
Oliver,
YouTube channel.
come here.
And Ms. Christensen, we're
Okay.
here for an arraignment, which is for me to advise you of the charges and set forth sort of a scheduling order for the time frame of the case. I noticed that you are not represented by an attorney. Is that by your choosing?
I would like to, I'm going to come in as a woman under common law in the nature of this matter, and I would like to require at least 90 days so I can file proper claims.
Okay,
And then I
so
can
my
come back
first.
with an answer.
God damn it.
Okay, so Ms. Christensen, you want to.
Probably a traffic ticket. They said it's a felony. Whatever she did, it's a felony. At least that's what it seemed like in the last video. This isn't traffic court.
Represent yourself and
or if it is, it's some sort of felony traffic violation, but it's not just a ticket.
Not be represented by a lawyer. Is that, am I understanding that right then?
Yes. I feel that my rights are constitutionally not being upheld, and I don't see the reasoning that is a good reason for me opening my mouth to look at.
What state is this? My home state of Michigan.
Prison time, because that's freedom of speech.
Okay. Well, the law requires me to go through just a, well, Mr. Radsvon, do you know, did the, well, I guess I should probably do it on the record. Ms. Christensen, the law requires that I go through, now you've got, you've got two constitutional rights that are flip sides of the same coin. You've got the right to the assistance of a lawyer if you want. You also have the right to represent yourself under the Constitution. So of course you can't exercise both of those at the same time. So when people, go ahead.
Sorry. I would like to establish jurisdiction under common law.
Okay, so this is a thing they do. Basically they just try and say, what right does this court have to judge me? As if it isn't already established, like in the basic level of our law, as to why the judicial branch of the government has the right to judge you guilty or not guilty or whatever. Like, we've established this a long time ago. Lily Love Stuff says, Michigan may be full of crazies, but at least it's not Ohio. I guess.
In the court?
Okay, well let's just do one thing at a time. So I first want to assess that constitutional right either to have a lawyer represent yourself. And if you're choosing to represent yourself, the law requires that I just make sure you know some things about that so I can be assured that that's a knowing and free will decision that you're making. Okay, so bear with me.
Okay.
Right. I first have to advise you of the charge against you and any maximum penalties that you could face. You're charged with resisting or obstructing the police officer, and that is a felony crime. It's punishable by up to 2 years in prison and or a $2,000 felony crime or obstructing the police officer.
Resisting or obstructing the police officer. Interesting. But there was no other crime?
And that is a felony crime.
Like, did she just go up to a cop and fuck with him?
It's punishable by up to 2 years in prison and or a $2,000 fine. Do you understand the charge and the maximum penalty that it carries with it?
I only understand common law. And I do know the constitutional right, so I don't feel that I should get 2 years in prison or even have. I just want to.
This is not the time. Why are you arguing? This is an arraignment. What are you doing?
Discharge, so I can just go about my day because I.
No, this is an arraignment. You plea here. You give up. You plead.
I already know there's like. I got notes right here. There's more than one that is violated, and honestly, I don't even.
Okay, that would come up during the trial. The arraignment is not where you present like evidence that like I blah 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 blah. I don't think I should have been arrested for this, or I don't think I'm guilty of this. Whatever. No, that's what the trial is for. This is an arraignment. They redo the charges, you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest, and then you schedule upcoming hearings and stuff.
I don't want to be bothering people. I don't even want to file claims. I don't want to be doing any of this stuff to anybody. I feel if there's no verified.
Could be a traffic ticket they aren't discussing. It's possible. It's possible she got some sort of traffic stop and then also got a felony charge for doing something to the cop, or who knows.
Claims against me.
Didn't she watch My Cousin Vinny? 2 Utes!
Of me hurting or harming anybody.
It's called discovery, you dickhead.
Nobody sent me an itemized bill or anything. I was willing to seek remedy and then just take care of this matter. Like, I think this is a waste of time to me.
You can think it's a waste of time all you want. The court doesn't.
Okay, well, right now I don't know anything about the case, so it's entirely possible that that I would agree with you. I have no idea.
That's what the trial is for. This is an arraignment. Overthought says, and the judge doesn't want to deal with your BS, but you're all in this now. Anti-Pretzel says, this makes me glad Chris Chan never tried to understand law or get into sovereign citizenship. Oh boy, at least Christine has a lawyer. I agree. Christine is currently in jail. There was another continuance. It's a whole thing. Carney with 50-bit says, I saw a sovereign citizen video where they say to prove to me you have the right to judge me. So the judge had her held in contempt and arrested. The next time they were in court, they were far more cooperative. Well, that proved it, didn't it?
But we have to follow a process, right? And that process is to protect both guilty people and innocent people who are accused of things in our system. So I just have to go through some things with that process with you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
So I just want to make sure that you understand the charge that you're facing, and it sounds like you do. And I also need to advise you that there are some risks in representing yourself, and that is that there are certain rules of procedure in courts, rules of evidence, and what the court can consider and what the court cannot consider. An attorney has been through a course of study on what those rules are, and most people representing themselves have not. So you do have the constitutional right to represent yourself. I just want to make sure you understand that there are some risks according to that, and you would be required to follow the rules just like anybody else would. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. I also have to make sure that your decision to represent yourself is unequivocal, meaning that it's not just that sometimes people have an attorney and they were unhappy with that attorney and they say, well, I want to represent myself, but it's not really that they want to represent themselves. It's that they just want a different lawyer. So can you explain to me then, are you choosing to represent your own interests in this case without any attorney at all?
I'm coming in under common law as a woman, and
that doesn't mean anything.
I'd like to establish jurisdiction.
Yeah, this is a sovereign citizen.
Under common law for we the people.
Right, but would you like to do that on your own?
Yes, I want to pursue this on my own. I do have some more evidence that I'm gathering up for my claims, but if there is no injured party, I feel that if everybody would just, I don't know, I think it just needs to be discharged.
It's not what today is for.
Okay,
I don't want to get anybody's job on the line. I really don't want to even do that.
Okay.
Again, she's subtly trying to threaten the judge.
You keep...
If you don't discharge this claim, oh, well, I'll have to do something that might threaten your job, Mr. Judge. She's trying to Karen the judge.
Wanting to jump to the end of the story, discharging or dismissing the case, there's 3 ways that can happen, okay? One is the prosecutor can dismiss a charge anytime they want. The prosecutor has the constitutional authority of charging discretion, so they decide what charges to bring or to dismiss. Or 2, if you file a motion for me to consider dismissing the case and explain why I should, then I would hear from both sides, and I have the power to rule on those motions, and I could dismiss it on a motion. Or 3, if it goes forward to a trial, either in front of me or in front of a jury of your peers, and they decide that you're not guilty of it. All right, but what I can't do today is just because you tell me something verbally, I can't say, oh, okay, and dismiss a case. That's just not how the process is going to work. Okay. So I will give you that time, you said, to file some claims. Okay. So, but we're getting there. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to find, based upon what you said, that you are, you're desire to represent yourself is unequivocal, and it is knowingly and understandingly made. So I am going to allow you to proceed representing yourself in this matter.
Hydrate.
I have advised you of the charge against you. Have you received a copy of that, of the charges against you?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you wish to plead to that charge? Guilty or not guilty, or stand mute?
She gonna say,
Not
I don't
guilty.
want to plead? Okay, no, she did. She did not guilty. Good.
All right, a not guilty plea is entered on your behalf.
I've seen many sovereign citizens be like, I'm not gonna plead. I don't even think I should be here, and then just roll their eyes and enter a not guilty plea.
And
Can I possibly require at least 90 days so I can gather the rest of my information, if that's okay? And I can do my motions also.
well, we usually don't set them out 90 days to start with. We usually set them out, you know, anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. Mr. Radzivan, any objection to a request for 90 days at the start of this case?
I think that's too long, Judge.
Okay.
I'm certainly okay with setting it out till late December or maybe early January.
Okay. All right.
Do all cases go through an arraignment? Yeah.
Ms. Christensen, what I'll do is the next thing that happens in my court is called a docket call, and that is a pretrial hearing for people to file any motions. If there is any pleas, you know, they can be entered at that time. And I'll schedule this for that docket call on Monday, December 20th. That gives you 60 days.
Okay, that's fair.
And we'll schedule it at 9 a.m. And we handle those matters in person here in the courtroom. Where is Melvin, Michigan? How far out is that?
Like 4.5 hours away.
Oh, okay. Mr. Radzivan, any objection to that docket call being over Zoom?
No.
Okay, so Ms. Christensen, I'm going to allow you to.
That sucks. She got charged with a felony 4.5 hours away from her home. That sucks.
Appear by video Zoom if you wish for that as well.
Okay.
If you file some motions and you want, you know, to argue them in person, you are absolutely welcome to be here in person in the courtroom. We're just going to allow you to appear by video for your own convenience if you wish. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
All right. Mr. Radzivan, are the people requesting any forensic center referral or no?
No.
Okay. And estimated length of trial?
I think one day.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Christensen, you're going to continue to represent yourself in this matter for now. At any time, if you want to have the assistance of an attorney, you may hire an attorney of your own choosing, or you could ask the court for an attorney at public expense, and then I'd have to review whether you're eligible for that. And we're going to schedule this for a docket call conference on December 20th at 9 a.m. You can appear by Zoom if you wish, or in person. If you want me to rule on any claims that you're going to file, you have to file them in writing beforehand.
Yeah.
And you have to also include with them something called a notice of hearing.
Yep, I
telling
did put
yourself.
something
Okay. All right. And then I'll hear any claims you want to file on that date and time. Okay.
in. All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. You have a good day.
You too.
Okay, so that's that one.
Good.
Let's try and watch
have
the second part.
Also include with them something called a notice of hearing.
Oops, that's the same one.
Today,
Oopsie.
December 20th, 2021. Today, December 20th, 2021.
December 20th. Ugh. I have to find the specific one. Alright, I'm just gonna watch this and skip over the guy's commentary then. Because you linked the wrong video.
And as a reminder to the parties, we are providing public access both online and in the courtroom.
Good morning, y'all.
First up on our docket this morning is an arraignment from page 1.
God, I really wait. Is this not the same one, or is he just looking at several cases? Is that her? Yep, that's her. The charges were resisting arrest or interfering with police. Is he enabling her? No. It's your right to defend yourself in the court, at least initially. The judge can later decide, like, you're incompetent and, like, your self-defense would be so bad that it would be grounds for a mistrial. So we're gonna make it so you can't defend yourself and have to get a lawyer, which is what he does in the third part, which we watched first.
Yeah, I'm getting the holiday spirit.
Who's the guy on the right? The guy on the left who's the streamer? Or the guy in the top right who is the prosecutor sitting at the desk? The left? Yeah, he's some other streamer who also covered this, but I can't find the original video because he didn't link it. Unfortunately, I believe he did the wrong one. Oh no, wait, is this now? This is good, cool. I think we found it actually. No, that is the old one. And I don't know where the other one was. So we gotta deal with this, unfortunately.
All right.
Good morning, Ms. Christensen. Can you hear me?
Yes, Woman Angela can hear you, Aaron. Good morning.
This might be her.
And we are up next from page 2.
I'm not sure.
It's People of the State of Michigan versus Angela Marie Christensen.
I just really want to find the actual video so I don't have to deal with this. Why? Like, what's this one? Hold on. Why can't I see the date that it streamed? Whatever.
It's file number 21-93185FH. We do have Ms. Christensen with us by Zoom video this morning. The prosecuting attorney, Mr. Radzaban, is with us in the courtroom. And Ms. Christensen, I do want to remind you that we are providing public access both in the courtroom and also online. And today is the date that I had scheduled for what's called a docket call.
Is this her? Somebody tell me.
We can hear any
It is.
motions filed by the parties. So I'm required at every hearing after that. I'm sorry, you froze. Can you hear me still?
It's almost as if I would have looked up her name
Sir,
before
can
this.
you please only refer me to me as I, woman, or Angela, and not a you?
Yikes!
What?
Well, that would be improper grammar. So I'm not going to
Same.
use improper grammar and call you by the first person when I'm addressing you as the second person. But the
I don't want to be referred to as you. Can you just call me my first name, please?
That's
Sure.
not really proper in court. That's pretty informal.
I can avoid pronouns if that would please you. I can just refer to Angela as Angela rather than using the personal pronoun, which the English grammar does allow to be used.
I'm really starting to like this guy.
So,
oh my God.
can I refer to Angela as Miss Christensen?
Just Angela, please.
Okay. I generally prefer a little more formality than that, but that's fine, Angela. So, Angela, at the last hearing, you said you wanted to represent yourself, and I went through
Just
a
call
process.
me you again.
Oh God, this hurts.
Well, I'm going to do that because that's just how I learned English. So that's proper English. There's nothing wrong with it. So that's what I'm going to do.
Oh yes, Paladin lost. Did you find it? You're my goddamn hero. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. You have no idea. You're the goddamn MVP. Thank you.
If that would please you, I can. Well, that would be improper grammar. So I'm not going to use improper grammar and call you by the first person when I'm addressing you as the second person. But the
I don't want to be referred to as you. Can you just call me my first name, please?
Sure, I could as Angela rather than using the personal pronoun. So
just Angela, please.
Okay. I generally prefer a little more formality than that, but that's fine, Angela. So, Angela, at the last hearing, you said you wanted to represent yourself, and I went through a process.
Call me you again.
Well, I'm going to do that because that's just how I learned English. So that's proper English. There's nothing wrong with it. So that's what I'm going to do. So I have to, every time we have court, I have to go through that process again, not in full, but I'm required to just double check a couple things. All right. So do you understand that that by representing yourself, you are at somewhat of a disadvantage of not knowing or being trained in all of the court rules and processes of court?
No, I don't understand legalese. I only understand natural law.
Natural law isn't a thing.
So that's my point. So in this courtroom, there's a lot of legalese that happens. And so without a lawyer, you don't have somebody translate
I'm just a woman, so...
Which is why he's recommending you get a lawyer. I've never seen a sovereign citizen just outright say, I don't understand the law. Yeah, that's why you should get a lawyer. Hydrate.
The only person I believe that has jurisdiction over that would be me as a woman.
You would be incorrect as a woman.
Because the government and the court's created by the man and the God's the creator. So that's where I'm going with that.
That doesn't mean anything.
All right, well, where I'm going with this is I just want to double check. Do you still want to represent yourself?
I am going to represent, yes, I'm going to represent myself.
Okay, now I need to tell you one thing about that. The court rules require that I make sure that your request is unequivocal. I find that it is, and that it is a knowing and voluntary choice, and I find that it is. The court rules also require that I find that you representing yourself would not be a disruption to the court proceedings. So, Ms. Christensen, I guess I'm just going to tell you, you seem to want to do court your way.
Nandy Owl says, I don't speak legalese, but I'm going to keep representing myself anyway.
And if you insist on doing that, I'm not going to let you represent yourself, because we got to do court the way the law says, not the way...
I'm allowed to self-govern myself as a woman.
I'm surprised he got to the third hearing before he revoked her right to be her own lawyer or defend herself. Because at this point, I would have been like, all right, okay, nope, we're not doing this. This is already a disruption. Holy shit.
Okay. So...
And I stand on my paperwork.
Okay, so we'll see how that goes. So you had said that you were going to file some claims or motions. I was handed this morning some 4 handwritten documents dated December 17th. Are those the motions and claims that you had intended to file?
I did file those, yes. I had them put in there, and then depending on today is, I guess, if I have to file claims or not, which I really don't want to have to do.
Okay.
She keeps doing that. Stop trying to threaten the judge.
So these, did you provide a copy of these documents to the prosecutor?
Yes, I had them taken in, and the lady took them over to the prosecutor, and then he was supposed to get one, and you were supposed to receive one.
Okay, and so Mr. Radzivan, did you receive a copy of those documents?
I received some documents, Judge. I'm assuming they're the same as what the court.
Okay, and now, Ms. Christensen, the court rules do require a certain time frame for those to be filed before the hearing date so that both sides have a fair chance to review them. And yours were filed just on Friday, today being Monday. That's not enough notice in the court rules. So what I'm going to do now is ask the prosecutor whether he waives that notice requirement and would agree to have your issues heard today, or whether he doesn't want to waive that. And that's a rule that benefits both you and the prosecution, so that neither side can just wait to the last minute and sandbag the other, all right?
This is one of the reasons, by the way, judges really don't like people to defend themselves. Not because, like, you don't have the right to or anything. You do. It's just, it slows everything down because every little thing about the court procedure needs to be explained in layman's terms. Like, you can do it. It's just a bad idea. You're gonna lose, and you're gonna waste everyone's time.
So, Mr. Ratzabon, do the people wish to waive notice, or do you wish me to reschedule?
No, we don't,
this?
Judge.
Okay. So, Ms. Christensen, what we're going to have to do, the prosecutor is not waiving the notice requirement. And so I'm going to have to schedule the next date to hear your, these are entitled notice. So I guess first let me ask you, so Ms. Christensen, these notices that you filed, these 4 notices, I did read them, and sometimes they do ask for some kind of relief or some kind of explanation. They're titled notices. Do you want me to rule upon these, make a decision on these notices as if they're motions asking for some relief for you?
I would like my notices and to be able to stand on my paperwork and just discharge this whole scenario.
She's not answering the question. She's just talking fucking nonsense.
Is what I would like to see.
You want the case to be dismissed, is what she's trying to say. On what grounds do you want the case dismissed? Do you want him to rule upon these requests for dismissal? That's what he's asking.
Happen, and then everybody can just go on about their business, and we don't have to go and keep coming back and forth to court and all that.
All right. Well, Ms. Christensen, I think what you and I need to have right now is a little law talk. So let me just explain something to you. Every defendant, I'm sure, would like to just have their case dismissed, and
I'm
everybody
not a
go on with their
defendant,
lives.
though. I'm not a defendant.
You're a defendant.
Man in court, every man in court and every woman in court, I'm sure would like to have their case dismissed. That's not how it works. So the people of the state of Michigan, through their elected representatives, have established this court. They've established the prosecuting attorney's office. The people of Presque Isle County have elected the prosecutor, and the people of Presque Isle County have elected me and given us both with the authority to handle these claims. And you're accused by the people through their representative, the prosecutor, that you've committed a crime against the people of the state of Michigan. So there's only 3 ways that the case will end. One is we'll schedule it for a trial, either in front of a jury of your peers or in front of me as the judge. Or number 2, you could reach an agreement with the prosecuting attorney, some kind of plea bargain or plea-based resolution, and that happens in a great deal of cases. Or number 3, I do have the authority to dismiss cases, but only on a properly filed motion that sets forth legal and factual grounds to do so. I'm not going to dismiss a case just because you feel that it should be or you would like it to be. If what you have filed provides a legal or a factual basis to dismiss the case, well, then I'll do so, right? But we have to hear those motions in the proper course of things. So do you understand those 3 processes for how we get to the case being resolved?
I understand just the way that I'm doing things. If I need to, I can file more paperwork and send it in.
She's not even listening. When she said, it just filled in my head the thing from The Office where Michael Scott's like, I understand nothing.
If I have to. But as far as legal stuff, I don't understand any legalese whatsoever.
Then fucking get a lawyer! Why does she keep repeating this?
Okay, well, this is what I'm trying to tell you. So wherever you got all the advice that you're getting for saying, I, Angela, common law, using colons after everything, whoever gave you that advice, I just want to tell you, Ms. Christensen, as a person, that person, whoever told you those things, they're not going to serve your jail sentence if you're convicted and go to jail. It's going to be you or I or whatever you want to call yourself. And so really, I would encourage you to not listen to any sovereign citizen type of advice because it just never works. So if you want to file those motions, I'll hear them. You know, and if you present a legal or factual basis to dismiss the case, I'll do that. But if you don't, I'm not going to, and it'll be scheduled for a trial. And if you're convicted, it's not going to be whoever gave you that advice that stands before me for sentencing. It's going to be woman Angela Christensen. And
he's laying it out there.
She's the one that's going to go to jail. And so it'd be a shame if that happened just because you're getting some bad advice from the internet or a seminar or wherever you got it from. All right, so at this point, I haven't ruled on your motion, so I'm going to continue to indulge you in representing yourself. But if you haven't been very disruptive, you know, but if your arguments become too disruptive, I'll just appoint an attorney, which frankly, I mean, probably should do. You would really be served if an attorney would review all this stuff with you and represent your interests. Are you sure you don't want me to appoint you an attorney at this point?
I do not want an attorney.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Radspan, any objection to continuing the docket call to the January date then to hear these motions?
No, Your Honor. Judge, I guess I have to raise an issue for the record.
Okay.
This is unusual for myself representing the people to request this, but I'm wondering if Ms. Christensen should not be referred for a forensic evaluation of both as to criminal responsibility and
For those who don't understand what just happened, the prosecution just said, Judge, we don't normally do this, but should we have her mentally evaluated to make sure she's actually responsible for her own actions legally? Because she sounds fucking crazy. Can we even try her? She's fucking crazy. That's what they just said, but in the legalese, she doesn't understand. Because he just asked, should we recommend for forensic evaluation? They're saying, should we get her talking to a psychiatrist to see if she is competent to stand trial? Yeah, that's fair. Let me be clear. I don't think she's mentally ill. I don't think she's crazy. I think she's ignorant. I think she's very, very ignorant. And, like it or not, ignorance is not a defense, and ignorance is not something that precludes you from standing trial for your alleged crimes.
Well, I think the only things that I've heard is sort of some of this sovereign citizen nonsense that's out there. There's plenty of people who believe it who are in fact competent. I'm not sure. I don't have sufficient information at this time to raise a question about Mr. Christensen's competency per se, more that she's just gotten some very bad advice and is acting on it in a, not a very sophisticated manner.
Yeah, I don't think that's an unreasonable choice. I don't think she's crazy. I just think she's a conspiracy theorist and doesn't know it. I don't know. That's kind of a gray area and a fine line, but I'd put her on. I think she's competent to stand trial. I think she is colloquially incompetent as a as a legal defender. Let's put it that way.
So I think at this point, I'll take that under advisement, Mr. Radspan. We'll hear her motions in January and see how it goes. So far,
Which is the one we watched first, and of course, the motions went nowhere. The judge denied all the motions, and revoked her ability to be her own defense. And the next part of the trial, unless there is a continuance of some kind, will be in 2 days on the 14th, and we'll cover that at some point.
Not being too disruptive.
If it's interesting. I imagine it is. She's been interesting so far. But now that she's being forced to have a lawyer, might be less interesting. The lawyer might just tell her, sit there, shut up. Which isn't as fun, but better for her legally. Let's put it that way. Better for her defense.
If that changes, I might change my approach.
All right.
But Ms. Christensen, what I'm going to do is
Alien Eye Plant, thanks for
just so that we
following,
make sure we're
and
communicating
Ultracast
clearly
420, thanks for
and
following.
you filed these motions or notices to be heard. I'm going to continue this then to January 10th at 10:30 in the morning. And because you've got some issues you want me to rule upon, I think it might be helpful to have you here in person. Your audio has glitched just a couple times.
Unfortunately, I
so-
can't accept that and be in person. I can only do the Zoom.
She does do a Zoom for the next one, as we saw the first time. But, I guess we'll see.
Why is that?
Because it would be a burden to me.
Where do you live at?
Like 4 hours from there. I live in my person, actually, wherever I sleep at night in my body.
I live in my body. Okay, yeah, okay. Is your body 4 hours away from the court? Maybe we should revisit that evaluation. No, that's another sovereign citizen thing I've heard where they're like, what's your residence? And like, my residence is my body. It's other bullshit.
Well, don't we all? But where do you commonly do that? About 4 hours from now, from here? Okay. Well, I mean, it not being an evidentiary motion, Mr. Radsbon, any objection to Zoom appearance?
No, Judge.
Okay.
So the next one was a Zoom appearance, as we saw, but in that one, he says for the next one that's on the 14th, that no, she cannot do Zoom, she has to be in person. Because I believe, like he said, it's an evidentiary hearing. So we'll see if she shows up. It'd be interesting if she just chooses not to and gets a bench warrant. That'd be bad for her.
I'm going to allow you to appear for that hearing by Zoom as well. I'm doing that as a convenience and an accommodation for you. So as long as you're so far you're conducting yourself in a fairly respectful way, and as long as that continues, I'll
it's this courtroom, whatever.
Accommodate you in those regards. Okay. So
Thank
we'll see you next on January 10th at 10:30 in the morning, where we will hear your the notices that you have filed. If there's anything else you want me to rule on that day, you do have to provide notice to the prosecutor at least, is it 7 days or 9 days, Mr. Radsbon? Mr. Radsbon, do you prefer 7 days? Is it 7 days notice under the court rule or 9?
Well, 9 by mail.
9 by mail. Yeah.
Nick says, I, woman Angela, I don't want to be burdened. Skylar, I am the burden.
Yeah, so if you're mailing it, you'd have to mail it 9 days before the January 10th hearing. Okay, but the ones you've already filed, those are all set. Okay. We'll hear argument on those on January 10th, and I'll rule on them at that time.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll set aside a little extra time for that, Mr. Radsbon. Anything further from the people?
No, Judge.
Ms. Christensen, anything further from you today?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, have a good Christmas, and we'll see you on January 10th, 10:30 by Zoom. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Sorry for the interruption. At 9:15 of Mr. Brown, do you want him in person or Zoom? Just trying to figure out if I should go to the jail or.
Oh, what's he up for? Reselection.
I find the Michigan has been doing this thing. There's another judge. I think Judge Middleton. I don't know where he's whereabouts his court is in Michigan, but he also does the YouTube court stuff, and it's very interesting. He's also come across some sovereign citizens. They're more often than you would think. It seems like at least once a week or so, a sovereign citizen will come through the courtroom, and it's very strange. Let me put it that way. Anyway, I think that's probably it for a stream. We're a little over 3 hours now. Let's see who we're gonna raid. Who is... Wow, almost no one's live. Okay, what are these two doing? Yeah, sure. Bitter Grin says it's Michigan. That's not more often than I would think.
Having the no, so you just.
Is there anyone new? I don't know. Is there anyone that I could read that I don't know about? We'll do $27. All right. Have a good night, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow for some other kind of stream. So I'll see you then. Have a wonderful evening, and sleep well. See you guys later. Good night.